getting this on! What contested? Are you serious? Did you see that? That was just Duke Central for Crimsix.
Oh man, I got the 3, make it 4 kills at the start. He's already 2.5 kills away from getting his score streak.
You do it, check your corners, find one, there goes Huddle. No, right there! Oh my God! What?
Just do your stretches, get ready, because it's gonna be a party.
Oh my God! What is happening?
Good job, good job.
Somebody call Sonny! It's the best in the world that can happen! Oh my God! Go play! Go play! Go play! Be the hero! Be the team! He's gonna do it!
Complete promotion is gonna be there!
Not enough time to work with! Inoptic Gaming is done! Incredible stuff! Clay killing everybody. Watch all the points! Oh my God! Doing it all by himself!
Inside the hard point, allow for
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MLG Orlando. We are stoked to be here. We got a weekend full of Call of Duty action to show, and I've joined by a wonderful analyst desk. In fact, they were so good at Anaheim, we brought all 3 of them back. We got replays, Call of Duty World Champion, TP as well, Call of Duty World Champion, and Merc in the middle. I mean, you're a good player as well.
Thank you.
I appreciate
it. Yeah, that's fine.
I got you, Mark. I got you. I mean,
One more than you, Ben.
That's true. That's true. Thanks, bro. Made me feel good. How you doing today? You
I'm
having a good
feeling
day?
great. Yeah, I'm feeling great.
I know you went Harry Potter World yesterday, huh?
Yeah, it was just a great time.
Was it good? I'm surprised you didn't like bust out the one.
I
with the
have
cake.
my wants for tomorrow.
You do?
though. I'll
Do you have a
show
butterbeer?
Save it for tomorrow.
Do you have butterbeer?
Yeah, I did.
So good.
It was fantastic, actually, my first time.
First time. Well, we're having fun. It's great to be in Orlando this weekend, and we're so excited for Call of Duty action all weekend long. So, without further ado, let's take a look at how this weekend's tournament is going to go down.
MLG Orlando is one of the biggest events of the year for the Call of Duty competitive scene. One of the only times with a rare mix of amateur and professional players in the same building. Now's the time for everyone who talks a big game at home to show up. The tournament is broken down into 3 sections: the open bracket, group play, and championship bracket. If you're a professional team, that means you've already proved you're one of the top 12 teams in North America. At MLG Orlando, these teams will be placed into 4 separate groups based on their performance throughout the past CWL season. Each group will consist of 3 pro teams and 1 amateur team from the top 4 open bracket spots. To claim one of the top 4 amateur spots, that means you are undefeated in the 96-team open bracket. Group play will then determine how the championship bracket will finally be arranged. Top 2 teams in each group advance to the winner side, while the bottom 2 move over to the loser side, where they'll face a tougher route back to the championship, as they're also joined by the top 4 ranked 1-loss teams from the open bracket. The championship bracket is now set with the winner side and the loser side. In the grand final, the loser side must defeat the winner side twice in order to claim the title, while the winner side only needs 1 win to complete their championship quest. Teams are not only competing for a piece of the $100,000 prize pool, but their performance at MLG Orlando will be a huge factor in their seeding going into Call of Duty XP in Los Angeles, California. A win in Orlando will cement yourself as the team to beat going into the biggest tournament of the year. It's time to find out who's come to play and who will crumble under the pressure.
So pretty self-explanatory stuff, very similar to what we saw in Anaheim, but we should take a look at this weekend's prize pool. These guys are playing for a huge chunk of change. Of course, $100,000 is going to be the prize pool. First place walking away with a huge $40,000. Super stoked, of course, to see how the top 8 is going to be at the end of this weekend. But we should really talk a little bit about the groups, okay? We're going to start with Group A replays, and this is the one where we kind of been talking about, and it's like, it's kind of like in the middle when you look at degree of difficulty, right? I mean, you got Team EnVyUs, United, and Team eLevate.
I mean, yeah, I've been looking at this group. I think EnVy's going to take this group pretty easily. I think the way, after winning an event, they're going to be so confident going into this event. I think nothing's really going to stop them here. I think it's going to bring right to the bracket play.
Completely agree with you on that one. EnVyUs pretty much dominated every team they played against at the Stage 2 finals, looking like that #1 seed. We were doubting them a little bit, but they came out strong. Expect them to take the #1 spot.
Yeah, and then right away we have EnVy versus eLevate. First match of the day. We'll see if eLevate will be able to play like they did at Anaheim.
I'm excited because I think they're coming in with a lot of confidence. There isn't really as much pressure on some of these other teams who have just formed. Excited to see what they're going to bring. And then we take a look at Group B. Of course, the Team of Dreams. You got H2K Gaming in there and Team EnVyUs. This one probably the easier of all the 4 groups. You agree?
Yeah, you don't have like one of those powerhouse teams as like Optic, FaZe, or Envy and those teams. I mean, this is still a very talented group. I think personally, I think EnVyUs is going to take this one. I'm going to go on the European side. Yes.
Okay, Team EU from you.
That's a tough one. I don't know. I think Team of Dreams is going to do really well. I'm not sure if that second place, making to the grand final at Stage 2 playoffs, was really a fluke. You know, a lot of mechanical, correct gameplay. Biggest eye for me though is Sender needs to step up a little bit.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and then for me, I just think EnVyUs, this is their best chance at they're placing well at an MLG event. This is their best chance. It's their opportunity. They get into the pools.
Right.
You know, and to me, EnVyUs alongside Splice, they really have that similar like NA play style. Some of the EU teams play a little bit differently, but they always match up very well with NA.
I mean, when you go back to Anaheim, of course, these guys started in the open bracket. They played all the way through. This time, it's straight into pool play. So if they can bring that energy that they had at Anaheim, we could definitely see them potentially top that pool. Looking at Pool C, though, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, right? Replays, you have Rise, FaZe, Complexity, all in that one group. This one may be a little tough.
This is definitely probably the toughest pool, I would say. I mean, I think personally, I think Rise is going to take this one. I think the way they've been playing online after last season, I think they're going to do really well.
Yeah, especially they really struggled with Envy at the Stage 2 finals, but I think they're back. They're going to be back at that top elite spot we're expecting out of them. And then big question mark on this new Complexity lineup. Patty P back on the Complexity name. They're going to be able to take over. Some of the players on this team were on the bottom of the barrel teams coming together finally trying to make something work. So I don't know if they had enough time to prepare for this one.
I mean, it can't get much worse for Pat after what happened to Anaheim, right, Mo?
No.
It could be very similar. You have 2 really good teams in FaZe and Rise. I mean, people always argue they're probably 2 of the top 4 teams. FaZe always sort of, you're not sure what you're going to get out of them anymore. Hopefully, you know, they play to what we expect, but they haven't been doing that this year.
I feel like that would be an X thing, though. You know, you're 3 weeks away from Quad XP. He just comes here. He's like, by the way, guys, I'm just going to win the event. No big deal.
No.
Something he would do.
Opposite.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but I'm excited to see that new Complexity team either way. And then finally, Group D. This one, of course, is where we have the Green Wall Optic game. We've got Luminosity in there as well, and TK joining that group. Excited to see how they're going to play, but we have that rematch from Stage 2 finals, right? Replays. We have Luminosity versus Optic game.
Yeah, we do. I think Optic's going to take it this time. I think Luminosity had a great showing the last event, and the event before that at Anaheim, they had Study playing absolutely amazing. But I think if you have someone playing that amazing and you're still only winning in the last map, in order to take out Optic like that, that is not a consistent method. I think they're going to be playing well, but I think Optic will take this.
Okay.
Completely agree. And the biggest thing with this LG lineup is they kind of like took their foot off the gas pedal at Stage 2 finals. They beat the best team in the game, right? And then you expect them to make a grand final, and they didn't do it. You know, when you beat a caliber team like that, you expect to use that momentum to propel yourself throughout the tournament. They weren't able to do that. So I think, you know, LG awoke the beast in Optic. They didn't have too many excuses after that Stage 2 loss, and it woke them up a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, as soon as an Optic gaming team, especially a Crim6 team, loses, they're going to go put in the work. And you've seen that consistent practice, same time every night. These guys have been, you know, preparing a lot for this event and for XP.
It's almost like a flashback to North American Regionals when you were on the Complexity team, right? You guys lost to Strictly Business, and all of a sudden you're like, well, hold on, we can lose? Like, what is this losing?
When you're on that top level for so long, it's not necessarily complacency, but you start to play down to your competition sometimes. It just happens after so much time. And after you get a loss like that, you learn a lot about your team, the things you need to work on. That complacency completely goes away, and that's the perfect time to do it leading up to this tournament and XP.
Well, super excited for the entire weekend of Call of Duty action, but let's take a look at the schedule so you guys at home will know exactly when to watch your favorite teams play. We're going to kick things off with Team EnVyUs versus Team eLevate, followed by FaZe versus Complexity, then Dream Team versus Team EnVyUs. Then later on in the day, we have a little bit of a difference coming to MLG Orlando. We've got the primetime show kicking things off with Luminosity Gaming versus Optic Gaming, and then Rise Nation versus FaZe Clan. to end out the day. I believe we also have the Bravos as well, because there's going to be tons and tons of games going on here at Orlando. HJK versus Team EnVyUs, that's going to be a really important one, I think, for Team EnVyUs, right? You want to kick off your campaign strong in groups.
H2K as well. They picked up Ditos.
Right.
It's going to be, we're just see how they sort of mold together.
Well, tons and tons of games, that's for sure. But one thing we should really kind of touch on a little bit now is the fact that we are 3 weeks away from COD XP, the biggest tournament that COD has ever seen. Call of Duty's never had a tournament this big. And this is a time really where you're going to want to establish dominance, right? If you come here and you play poorly, you're kind of screwed, to be honest.
Yeah, no, you definitely want to use this event as something where you get a lot of confidence going in XP. Like you said, the biggest tournament of the year is in 3 weeks. You want to make sure you are on your game. This is the best form of practice. If you come here and you have a bad event, that could be a bad thing. So you definitely want to have a good event here.
Yeah, especially after the stage 2 roster changes. A lot of them went down. Are these new lineups? This is sort of their first trial period, and some teams haven't qualified for XP yet. There's only 6 teams that got the CWL points to guarantee their spot. There's a lot of teams that are using that test here, and if you have a bad showing here, you don't have much time to sort of reevaluate what you're going to do after.
I mean, that's a little scary, right? If you do underperform here and you go on to make a team change, Merc, you go what, 2 weeks? Like,
I think qualifiers next weekend.
I think it's like a week.
Yes.
So you're going to have a couple of days to gel as a team? I mean, that's very scary.
Yeah, but you'll get a preview of what your team, how they perform against the world's best here. So if you're really not trusting someone, maybe you switch out a player or two before those qualifiers, but you have to make sure you obviously qualify for Call of Duty XP.
Excited to see. A lot of teams definitely shaking things up. We'll have to wait and see who will come out on top, though. Especially get that momentum heading into Call of Duty XP in 3 weeks' time. That's going to be everything, though, from the pre-game show. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we return, though, we've got Team EnVyUs versus Team eLevate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to MLG Orlando. First game of the day about to kick off. We've got Team EnVyUs versus Team eLevate. And one of the big topics that we should really start off with before we get to the Banner Protect is, will EnVyUs be able to stay on top? Obviously, they've been playing extremely well, coming in very well practiced. They don't look as stressed out as many other players that we've seen walking around the venue. But do they have what it takes to stay on top for this event?
Oh, definitely. I think they have the talent. I think they have what it takes, and I think they have the confidence. I think they will be completely fine.
Yeah, I think they always had the talent, and now they have the confidence to back it up. Every other team, they're swapping around. Some teams are starting to doubt their rosters, and EnVyUs is one of the only ones that is not doing it. One of the most dominating performances we've seen throughout this year. They just did it at Stage 2 playoffs. They look great.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what we talked about at Anaheim. They have the ability to win events if they're all playing at full capacity. But if they don't, you'll see placements like Anaheim. So you need all these guys to be firing on all cylinders.
But how consistent are they actually going to be, though? Because as you said, when they're firing on all cylinders, yeah, they're going to win a championship. But are they as consistent? Because if there's a time to peak, it's right now.
Yeah.
3 weeks away from XP, like we talked about in the pregame show. But have they got that consistency down, in your opinion, where they're going to come to this event, play well, then they're going to go to XP and play well?
So far, from what I've seen, yes, online, they won the 500 series. They took out Rise in the finals. I mean, I think they've been, every scrim that I've seen them play that I've actually been able to watch, I think they've been playing amazing, so I think they have it.
Yeah, the biggest thing, though, is teams tend to not know what to do when they're not out slaying. And that's something Envy and Optic have been doing for so long now. When you're out slaying, the game feels really easy. You don't have to break into hard points, things like that. You always have control. It's when that one or two players on the team start to fall back a little bit in the slaying, other teams start to take the advantage, get the momentum. What do you do to recover? We're going to see if that even happens to them, or they're just going to keep dominating.
Okay, we can take a look at the map order as well for this series, and you guys can kind of dissect a little bit further detail. We're going to kick things off with a Stronghold hardpoint before an Infection, Search and Destroy, Evac Uplink, Fringe CTF, and a Redwood Search and Destroy if it goes the distance. Merc, I'm going to start with you. How do you see this series going? I mean, you kind of want to say, yep, EnVyUs is going to come in and maybe cruise through this one a little bit. Is that what you're thinking looking at these maps?
Yeah, I think the respawns really, favor Envy. You look at Stronghold, that's going to be all John and Apathy. Like, they put so much pressure on the map. Then Slasher, I think people have talked about it. He's transformed the past, month into this completely different player that we saw, what we didn't see earlier in the year. So I think if the map pressure is there, Slasher can just clean up the rest of the kills.
So in terms of your prediction replays, you're looking at a 3-0 for Team EnVy, sir?
I'm going to give it a 3-0 or 3-1 depending on the Search and Destroy. I think the Infection, Search and Destroy does favor Envy, though, because it's kind of more of a straight-up map where eLevate can't get like a little creative, where like they like to do in some Search and Destroys, but I think they can still take that map.
One thing that's huge to mention as well is eLevate did not qualify for the Stage 2 finals. It's been a while since Anaheim, right? Not having that LAN experience, so is that going to take into effect? eLevate, we always count them out. Oh, it should be an easy 3-0 for the opposition team, and then somehow they're able to bring it to a map 5 consistently. So I don't think they're going to be able to do it here, but they're known to do that type of stuff.
Any upsets, Mark, or?
It's just like Anaheim. Every single prediction we're like, is eLevate going to do it again? Are they going to do it again? They keep doing it. Now they're in the finals. They do a game 5 in the finals. So, I mean, anything's possible, but I definitely see Envy winning this.
The Banner Protector started. Man of War is gone. Frag, Semtex, they're gone as well. Are you expecting to see anything maybe a little bit different here replays, or is this just going to be a pretty standard?
I'm curious to see how the Vesper plays out here, if it's going to go through or not, considering I think that's definitely a weapon that might want to favor Envy side with John and Apathy using a Vesper, especially in hills like the Bunker Hill and stuff. So it'll definitely be interesting to see. But I think the John ban of Man of War is actually really important, though, because I know Elevate's a really good Man of War team.
Yep, exactly. One of the weapons that they go to, and especially in Nagafin's hands, sometimes he struggles with some of the other weapons. The M8, the VMP, not really his strong suit. Interesting to note, though, no Vesper being targeted yet. I thought that was going to be one of the first weapons targeted, but it seems like both teams are comfortable with it.
I saw Nagafin's clip with the Vesper he posted after an online scrim. I was like, okay, he's pretty good with that Vesper. But
yeah, and then you have Purifier, which Purifier sort of took a step back into the scene, I think. But that Bunker Hill, that's where people love to use it. So Envy obviously targeting that, so that they must know an eLevate player that loves to use it.
And I mean, tacticals are also in too. Stuns and flashes are in, so that's going to change up the class sets a little bit. I think this is going to be a very hill-oriented game here with the Vespers in play, the Mansion Hill, the Bunker Hill. I think we're going to see a lot of close quarters combat.
Yeah, it's potentially shaping out that way. Of course, the player's going to select their specialists, get their classes edited, and then the game will be getting underway. But that's going to be everything from us. We can now send it over to our wonderful casters for Game 1, Mr. X and Maven.
Great stuff, gentlemen, and hello. Welcome to Orlando. Maven here, joined by Matthew, Mr. X Morello.
I feel like it's been a while since, well, the last thing we did was Stage 2 Finals.
Yeah.
It's been a few weeks,
Been a
but
bit, I know.
I'm excited to see these teams play. Obviously, eLevate,
Got a
we didn't
little break?
yeah, we got a little break. I didn't mind the little break, but we get a chance to see eLevate. We have not seen them. They were not at Stage 2 Finals. It's probably the biggest story there. They didn't make it, and it'll be interesting to see how they play. A lot of, rumors. Are they going to make a roster change? They don't. They come in with the same roster, but what those guys were saying, I mean, the qualifiers for XP are pretty soon. If they don't perform well this weekend, who knows? I mean, you don't have a lot of time to make any changes going into that event.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at their strong finish they had at Anaheim. What are they going to be able to do here? And yeah, this is, I mean, Envy has been so good lately. Are they the top team here for you this weekend? I know up to this point, it's always been the question mark, is Optic still your top squad? But is Envy right now, the way they've been playing, the way they've been in Scrim, the 500
you'd have
series?
to say they are.
Yeah?
You'd have to say they are. I mean, Envy comes in here, your #1 team, and they're looking to take this one yet again. And I think probably a lot of people kind of discrediting them, like, oh, I know Optic didn't make it there, they didn't beat Optic, but they still won Stage 2 Final, like
In
commanding
convincing
fashion.
yeah.
So I think coming into this one, I definitely think you have to say that Envy is the favorite. I mean, seeing some of the online scrimmages coming into this, seems like the top competition is as close as it's ever been.
Yeah, I tweeted something yesterday or 2 days ago, basically saying that as far back as I can kind of remember, if you're taking a look just through your top 5 or 6 teams, as close as I can kind of remember it being, or your top 3 if you want to narrow it down more. It is so tight right now, and what a good time for it to be when we've got XP right around the corner. Obviously, the event this weekend, it's going to be incredible stuff, and yeah, I mean, you could probably make a list of several squads right now that have a really good chance to get first place, which is insane to think about.
Yeah, I mean, usually you say there's 1 or 2 teams that you can make a legitimate case for that they're going to win the event. I think obviously this one, it's pretty open. I think you can kind of make it for 4 or 5 teams as the game is getting loaded in. You can see how beautiful Codcaster looks now. Shout out to David Von Har, the rest of the Treyarch staff. Did a fantastic job updating Codcaster throughout the entire year.
All right, well, let's hop right into it. Going to be kicking things off here with a Felony of eLevate. Yeah, the colors, man, it's some elegant stuff.
Yeah, so obviously you see in the the top HUD, it's going to highlight eLevate when we're on board with them. You can see obviously the colors kind of change when you switch through players as well. So it'll give you a good idea of when you're changing players, whose view you're on now. So it's a really nice improvement to make it easier for the viewer.
All right, well, Aqua now pushing towards the hard point, able to wrap one up there, looking at half ball, finding a second. Aqua's inmate looking strong thus far, not able to finish up one more there with the RK5. So far, no one really able to get control of this first hard point, but you know as well as I do, until we get to the second, probably not going to see a whole lot of separation here.
Yeah, right now you're just going to see kills being traded in and around the hard point. You see John, he's going to get taken out there by Nagafan, and Slasher trying to set up here or by the fire pit, putting down some shots with the M8, but it's going to be eLevate in control of the hard point. I'm really looking to see if eLevate can kind of hang with Envy in the slaying department, because eLevate at Anaheim, they did a fantastic job, specifically Aqua and Felony in the respawns putting up kills. If those 2 guys don't perform like that at this event, it could be a bad one for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, but let's see. It's going to be Envy with control of the second hard point here early. eLevate going to have to go on the break. Felony and Aqua both going to be hitting the outside wall run. They have one to deal with in the back, able to pick that up, but his teammate finding a second there next to him. It's going to be Vicento now breaking in. They've already spawned Envy out. You can see one pinching from behind. That's going to be J-Cap that's already gotten lower. He's pinched with his teammates here. He's able to fight 2. Might be a third. There it is! Cap gets all 3.
And we talked about how
Getting the
Felony shot so well at Anaheim. He doesn't even put a bullet in Cap there. Cap just runs through him. The last player taken out there in that streak was Felony. But see, 20 seconds left on the hard point. Cap's going to try and rotate up top. He's going to get taken out. Slasher there, pick it up. This has been a fantastic hill for Envy. It looks like eLevate's going to be forced to rotate over towards that half wall, but damage has really been done here, man.
So far, so good. Now Envy gonna try to push out through rocks here, get set up for Halfwell. Assist coming in for Slasher, trying to find a secondary connector. Now let's see, I've got Apathy highlighted. Take a look at the top of the minimap. He's gonna be kind of the opposite side of this pinch here. Let's see, he's able to collapse as the rest of his team pushes towards Satellite. Just trying to find an opening here. He's got 1.5 ball, able to find it. Nice shots there from Apathy. The rest of his teammates are going to be dropping, though. He's tagged up, trying to get out. Play his life, not able to do so, Matt.
Yeah, he's going to spawn his teammates over by bunker, and Cap uses his camo. He's going to be able to get in, pick up 2. They just disrupted what eLevate was doing. So eLevate had a great setup in the back by Satellite. You see the big 2-piece there by Nagafan to kind of reset things in favor of eLevate. But when Envy goes to push that out through the back, you saw Apathy trying to cut over towards half wall. He picks up that kill there. If any of his teammates pick up kills in the back, they're going to start spawning back there, and it's a great setup for eLevate. But
Yeah,
Wow.
that great setup just got destroyed by EnVy. That's twice now we kind of see what looks to be a pretty good setup from eLevate just get destroyed as the slaying power of EnVy comes soaring in. They're able to pick up all 4. You see JCap getting 2. He's going to be on a 4 streak right now, 14-8, having a strong start here. And it's one thing when we were taking a look, at the stage 2 finals, JCap wasn't really going off.
Everybody
in the department
else's
on hard points.
stats were silly outside of Cap.
Oh yeah, basically everyone was double positive. He was, negative a few kills, but he was actually the one racking up all the time. Remember, I think it was Stronghold hardpoint. He had something like 2.5 minutes in the hardpoint, but I think it was -10 to close out the game. He was doing the dirty work. So far to kick this one off, though, we'll get right back to Cap as he's on another 4 streak. 18-9. What was he? 14-8. We go off him for a second. He's already blown up with 5 kills.
Well, we know Cap's shot is one of the best of all time when we talk about assault rifle players in Call of Duty. He's going to pick up a lightning strike here. He's actually working towards a Hellstorm, only 25 points away. But on this team, I mean, they don't need that type of firepower like every game. Like eventually somebody's not going to get the kills, right? Like look, this game because Cap's going off, Slasher's 8-11. It's like it just was an event where Slasher and Apathy and John were just playing lights out where there weren't that many kills for Cap to pick up. He gets actually taken out there. That's a huge kill by Facento.
So 100 short of the Cerberus.
100 short of the Cerberus, but I mean, look at the score, Maven. It is a blowout in favor of EnVy. It was like eLevate really only got this time on the first, 2 hard points? I mean, outside of that, they really haven't gotten much. Now you see it's going to be eLevate though in control of bunker. EnVy trying to break. Slasher gets in here towards that back. He's just going to go for the contestation here. He's actually going to fly out as SMG's behind him. I would like to see him play that a little bit slower. Let his submachine guns fly out and then Slasher peek that with the assault rifle.
Well, the Tempest player in Aqua is going to come out now. Is he able to find the shots? There's 1. There's 2. Lighting up the 3rd in the back. If he hits one of these shots, might be able to chain, but not able to do so. So he gets 2. Teammates coming from behind here try and pick up these kills. A team kill comes in. I believe that was Nogfin tagging up Felony in the back. The Tempest comes out from the side of EnVy. Does absolutely nothing. Aqua needs a little bit of support. They keep on flooding in. You can see the spawns from either team basically right behind the hard point as the battle continues.
Apathy just went huge for the side of EnVy. So Aqua picks up those 2. He goes to fly in. He has 1 player directly in front of him. Apathy takes him out. Then you saw Apathy take out another player, and EnVy ends up taking the last 10-15 seconds of that hill because of those 2 kills by Apathy.
Yeah.
And now we go back to
it was relatively split, right? But when you have such a big lead for EnVy, I mean, it's certainly in their favor.
You're okay with that, right? I mean, as long as you don't give up a ton of time. What eLevate gets, I believe, 14 seconds on that hard point. The rest is just contention, so it's a really good hill for EnVy.
All right, well now you hear the lightning coming in, I believe. I mean, Cap's used, Cap's used everything at this point. You saw he fell just a little shy of the Cerberus. He's still leading everyone in the kill department. He's actually basically leading in time as well. He's right up there with John. Speaking of John, let's hop on with him for a bit. He's got the heat wave to work with. We're now going to be in our 2nd rotation here of hills. 25 or so seconds left to work with. John absolutely melting Felony as he pushes in. We'll see where this heat wave comes into play, Matt.
Yeah, well, John actually picks up those kills, and he's going to try and wait for his teammates to fly into the hard point before he actually goes in and makes a play, and they all drop. And then that's going to force John inside of the hill. He gets taken out. 10 seconds left on it. Looks like EnVy's going to give up, go over towards the mansion. This is actually a really good hill from eLevate. It kind of brought them back into this game.
Well, John wins another, but will end up falling. I keep going back to him just because I want to see he's the only player really with anything to work with right now. And we know he was probably, I think we can both agree, I mean, the Apathy at times, John was probably our MVP from Stage 2 finals. I mean, he was a beast throughout the entire weekend. It was hard to even find really a bad map for him.
I mean, you could make an argument he was the MVP for Stage 2 just overall.
Yeah.
I mean, with EnVy finishing in 1st place, he was a huge part of that team. I mean, with the SMG in his hands, there's not many players who can do what he does. JCap's going to pop his camo. He's only going to be able to get 1 with it. So eLevate gets a nice break here, but Slasher, Apathy, and John coming from up top mansion, they'll take out 3 players inside of the hill, and it's actually JCap spawns out over by half wall, so he's actually in a really good spot to lock this one down for EnVy.
Yeah, that's why I blew up the minimap for a second. You saw that 1 blue triangle flanking in behind as several were trying to push out. He's now with 10 seconds left, going to be rotating back here to try and hold spawns as we move over towards half wall. He's got 1 right below him. That's not going to be an easy gunfight. He will fall. But it's still, I mean, is eLevate in striking distance? Absolutely. But EnVy is still comfortable here up 70.
If you're eLevate, I mean, going into bunker, if you can make it like a 40 to 50 point game, like I don't want to say you feel good about it, but there's definitely the potential of making that comeback if they get control of it early. But see, Slasher is going to be able to pick up 1 over on half wall. He's going to rotate over here towards half cut, but it's going to get taken down as you see Facento in the kill feed picking up 2. It's going to be eLevate in control of half wall. It's going to be Aqua picking up a kill there on Apathy in the middle. And if eLevate can hold here, maybe, and then get over towards Snow, they can definitely make this a game.
I guess I'm curious, so what's your opinion right now? When you take a look at the lead for Envy, what's been the single biggest thing for you for the side of eLevate that's leading to some struggles? I know as I say this, they're starting to climb back in a big way, but what do they need to turn on?
Well,
here?
I mean, what we saw from eLevate in the first half of the game was they were getting control of the spawns, they just weren't picking up kills inside and around the hill. I mean, now you see they get control of this hardpoint, they're able to pick up kills over by Bunker, and they're able to hold virtually the entire thing and start to make this comeback. 2 nice plays there from Aqua as you see Nogafin is going to rotate in towards this Snow hardpoint. They have 1 player around here. They take out the player up top Satellite. They have a good chance to lock this down, and you see 2 kills in the kill feed in favor of Envy. It's going to be Nogafin with a teammate just trying to stay alive. He's able to get 1, and now just needs to wait for his teammates to come on the pinch.
Yeah, both fall there by Satellite. I think it was JCap basically cleaning up everything. We'll hop over to him. He's got a 3 streak to go. And this is not the first time we've obviously seen him go off in spurts throughout the course of this one. Can he begin to build some streaks here? He's got a smoke in front of him trying to find the kill. There's one to his left, one in front as well that you can see on X-Ray. He's in a good position here to pick it up, but the flank does come through. It's a player we saw on his left right before he transitioned to watch the front. It's Slasher now trying to back him up, finding a couple before, ultimately dropping. About a 20-point lead here as we get to Bunker. And, you know, the first time through Bunker we saw it was really contested from either side. No one was able to effectively push out the spawns really at any point, right? Everyone just kept flying in, flying in, flying in. If Indy gets the early setup, which they're looking for now, they could really put this one away. But who's in the back? Vicento in a good position to at least give his team the spawns, but they're still spawning over the last hard point.
This would be a huge collapse if Envy were to blow this game. So eLevate has brought it all the way back. You see Slasher, he's brought out the Tempest, so Envy's investing a lot into this opening push here. Try and stop eLevate. Slash is going to fly out with the Tempest. He's able to connect on 1. That's going to change, but you see the dart coming in from Nogafen's able to take out Slasher. So that Tempest is only going to get 1 kill for Envy. Now eLevate's going to try and break in, and you're going to see they're going to pop that camo and now get behind the smokes here and try and make a play. And you see Vicento flies in. He gets 1, trying to find the second player, tags him up. They don't believe they finished that player off. Finally, he's taken out. But still, Envy able to hold on. That would have been a huge kill if Vicento's able to turn
no
and get
one's been able to push out. They're just going to be able to keep soaring in, contesting. The smoke is at least making it a little bit scary for them to try and push in. JCap getting it done with the L-Car, with the VMP, pushing through, doing damage. John on the 3 streak. Cap's got 2 as well. He's got a minute and a half. 2 minutes in the hard point for John. That was what they needed there in Bunker. They may be able to put it away now. They're going to pick up the final 10 seconds. They're only going to be 15 points or so away from victory. This should be Envy's game, but this is a map in particular where we've seen some gutsy comebacks over the final couple hills.
Oh, we have. I remember, what is it, FaZe that came back on, I believe, during the regular season. We saw one of the matches.
H2K's had some huge comebacks. DT, we've seen do it as well, so it is certainly possible now. Can they close it out here? Only need 12 points. They're picking them up. 10 away now. 45 seconds on the clock for this hard point. Watching John, passes 1, not able to win it. We'll go over to Apathy's point of view as he's going to be pushing towards the hard point. You can see on X-Ray pretty much everyone inside of Mansion. He's got 1 though on his left, looking for it, finds 1 in front before he's going to end up falling. Looking to close it out here, but eLevate for the time being, at least keeping it alive, but then be back in control.
Yeah, Slasher gets in, takes a second or 2, but has no teammate support there, just trying to play his life in the corner. He gets taken out, but 20 seconds left on this. It's a very difficult situation for eLevate. They need to contest it, but they also need to set up towards Mansion. You see the smoke still coming out from the side of eLevate. If they get control of this hard point, they have to rotate over towards the Mansion, though, get control of this early, or else Envy's just going to put the game away.
Well, let's take a look at the minimap now. You have Felony trying to go, it looks like, all the way around the back. I mean, he needs to get there in time. If this switch is over, I mean, Envy may be able to just close it out here. This should be game.
Yeah,
look at the minimap.
Nobody went over there from
No one's able to get in. They get into contest for just a
1
moment,
second,
and that's it. So, I mean, kind of, I guess, anticlimactic in the final seconds just because eLevate not really in a position there to even challenge.
It was a little bit anticlimactic because obviously Envy gets this huge lead, but eLevate really came alive in the second half of that game. They started to make a comeback, but Envy puts it away there. Nobody from eLevate gets over to Mansion in time, and they're able to put it away, Envy.
Well, Envy was up by, as much as 100 or so. I mean, pretty comfortably throughout much of that. So, I mean, valiant effort there by the guys of eLevate to try and bring it back. But that's not really a game mode I guess we expected them to take.
No, eLevate's pretty poor in hardpoint. I mean, to be fair, I mean, nobody really I think would have favored them in this one. No. Especially against an Envy team that has a lot of firepower.
Yeah, absolutely. And Envy is able to take care of it. As we take a look at it, I mean, JCap, he started strong. He ends up going +10. Now, I mentioned his struggles on this map at stage 2, but he goes +10, has almost 2 minutes in the hard point. Him and John really combined to do a lot of the objective work and also the slaying. So what you expect from Envy, but now to break it down a little bit more detail, let's toss it back over to the desk.
Thank you very much, guys. As you said, Team EnVyUs came out looking very strong, kind of as we expected. But replays, let's break down map number 1 from the beginning. Anything out of the ordinary happen in your eyes, or is that just business as usual?
I mean, I think that was pretty standard. The one thing I would say, I guess, the Slayers on EnVyUs were a little quiet, but then you have JCap going off. And if he's having a good event and then the other 3 pick it up, this is going to be a really scary team to play against. But I think on the eLevate side of things, the only thing I could say is that I didn't like the use of smokes in the bunker. I think they kind of blinded themselves when they were trying to break it. I think the way they were using those smokes were kind of a little off.
Yeah, exactly. When you use a smoke strategy like that, you either have to get them further into the bunker to block off their line of sight more than yours. They would just put it at the doorway, and you saw them pre-firing through the smoke over and over again. They had no chance to sort of break in. So I like the idea behind pulling out those tags. Didn't really execute correctly. Overall, though, EnVy started to slow down a little bit at the end. The sort of second rotation, the third, the fourth hills at Rocks and Heglich, for example, started to slow down. But you saw they were calm, composed, rotated very, very early over towards bunker to close out the game.
Yeah, I mean, eLevate just wasn't there at the beginning of the game. Towards the end, they started to pick up the slaying a little bit, and this is what we said. If EnVy slaying drops a little bit, they let teams come back into the games. This is what we talked about. I believe they were up by a good amount of time, and you could just see eLevate sort of keep getting closer and closer until the end. It was only 30 points.
So was it just a slow start for eLevate maybe then? If they just started the same intensity as they finished, would that have been maybe a closer game?
I don't think so. I think what it was is that I think EnVy got that lead, and I think they started playing for that lead. Like, they started leaving hills a little earlier than they should have, and then they were just making sure that we have the next hill, guys. Just make sure we have the next hill, because they kept chipping away points towards the 250-point mark. So I think they were fine. I think they were just kind of playing composed.
Makes a lot of sense.
One of the biggest things, too, is I don't think EnVy was using their streaks necessarily well. And they were, that's how you sort of extend your lead on a map like Stronghold. I didn't see very many, dealt 2 pieces or things like that with your lightning strikes and Hellstorm. So maybe got to figure that out a little bit better.
So heading into Search and Destroy mode, is this where you think maybe if there is a game type where they could excel against Team EnVy, is this going to be the one?
Absolutely. I mean, it just seems, you have Nagafin, you have Aqua. So many plays from Aqua on this map, especially on Infection. He's a very good sniper rifle player. So, if he's able to, get some of those first picks, they can easily take this.
Are you expecting to see maybe eLevate take this one?
It's definitely possible. I think, like I said before in the pregame, this is more of a straight-up search and destroy map. You really can't get too creative on Infection, and then that kind of favors EnVy, in my opinion. I think eLevate's still a very good search team. They have the talent to take this map, but I think if EnVy just plays like a normal setup, I think they'll be fine.
Is there anything specific, maybe, TP, that you're looking for from eLevate? Do they need to change something up, or is it just, play your game, but maybe just start off a little bit better?
I think eLevate just needs to rely on some of the sniper, the unorthodox gameplay we're used to seeing from them. Again, we go back to eLevate time and time again throughout these series. You don't expect them to take a first hard point. They take those 2, 3, and 4s in order to extend the series. So expect them to have a better showing on this one. The hard point was close, though. They started to roar back. We need to see that momentum in the search.
I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about eLevate's secret weapons, if you will. What makes them such a good squad, and kind of is a little bit of that sneakiness that they possess. Like, as Replay said, Nagafin in Search and Destroy, I feel like he can just explode at any moment. Like, we've seen some great clips from him in Black Ops 3 so far in S&D. He just really is a very lethal player.
Yeah, and I mean, you combine him with Felony. They just brought Felony on, and they've just been, meshing really well. It's like, again, we just always sort of count them out, but they just win those games that they're not supposed to, and it's just what they do. And you saw on camera, like, they were happy, like they were smiling. They just know it's one game, it's a hard point, and again, they don't really win too many of those.
But how important is kicking off group strong? Is that really as important as we always kind of preach about replays?
It's definitely important. I mean, I don't know. I think they're still confident. It's something that you want to do to get ahead of the game and make sure you're not in a bad position for the rest of the tournament. But I think they're completely fine. Like you said, they were smiling before, and we talked about it at Anaheim. Like, how many times have we seen them go down 0-1 and then it's the last game, like last map series? So.
It's very strange. Why is that, TP? Why are they a team which occasionally do go down at the very beginning, but always just seem to just force out game files?
To me, it's pretty straightforward. They're not the strongest slaying team, to be honest. They've always resorted to other tactics to win games. We saw it in AW when these players started to rise up in the scene, and they're still doing it here, especially against one of the best slaying teams in EnVy. You don't really expect them to take a map like Stronghold Hardpoint. The biggest thing, though, that you've seen eLevate struggle with is playing too flashy at times, in my opinion. Sometimes Nagafin needs to put away the sniper and just stack certain situations.
Ban and Protect has begun immediately. Apathy is targeting Overkill. Doesn't want to give anyone the ability to run that sniper in the SMG. Flashbang Concussion Replays expecting anything creative here, or just kind of business as usual?
Nothing creative. I was expecting the Overkill ban out of the EnVy side of things, just because how good eLevate is with the snipers. But I do still see eLevate using the snipers. They're very good with the pistol sniper combo. They play a lot of wagers together. That's kind of the meta on that. So I think they'll be using that a lot. And also with the sniper buffs too. There's so many snipers, so you don't want to just go and ban one sniper, because you have to ban all of them, and that's just such a waste of bans.
Completely agree. Man of War's gone as well.
Yeah, Man of War is just a gun that, people figured out at Anaheim. As soon as that's out, you sort of take away a lot of the slaying. Like, you have Felony, you have, Aqua, but as soon as Nagafin's able to pick up a bunch of those kills, that's the gun he was using. So people just figured that out and took that out of his hands.
Yeah, exactly. And I would really like to see eLevate maybe try and go for a protect on that one, for example. We saw that last ban really quickly was the smoke as well. We saw eLevate try and use those on the first one. Didn't really work out for him,
All right, so we're going to get a look at the specialist. Of course, no specialist really targeted throughout that ban and protect. It seems like Kinetic is going to be grabbed by Felony and Heatwave grabbed by Apathy. Interesting use of Psychosis. We had a lot of discussion about Psychosis Anaheim and whether we kind of agreed with it or not, but Jacob, he's gone for that one look.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something you can get so many times. You can get it 2 or 3 times per search and destroy. And is it not as effective as other specialists? Yes, but it just takes that 1 second for people to look at, a bot walking to mess with his visuals, and they're able to pick them off.
For Sentinel and John both picking up Glitch as well. Glitch, one of my personal favorite ones. I know Courage loves a good old Glitch as well.
We know.
I love it. I don't know why. I feel like you need to be very quick with it, obviously, but it can be very, very useful as long as you kind of remember where you were previously. But in terms of predictions, really quickly, you kind of touched on it earlier on. Can eLevate do it?
The one thing with the specialist draft that EnVy does not have kinetic armor, and eLevate does. So if this does go into the later rounds where that kinetic armor will be used, it will go in eLevate's favor, but it's going to be depending on how late this game goes.
Okay.
I'm going all EnVy. The last time I saw them, they 6-0'd on this map.
Yeah. Okay.
Very, very dominating fashion at Stage 2 Finals, so I'm expecting them to do it again here.
I agree with that. Yeah, EnVy all the way.
EnVy all the way.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys would just give me a sweep for game 1. I want a game 5 to kick things off here at MLG Orlando. But that's going to be everything from us. Now we can send it over to our wonderful casters for game 2, Matt and Maven.
Thank you, gentlemen. Is that beard new for Ben?
It is.
I don't think that I've ever seen Ben with a beard.
No, it's the first time.
I don't know how I feel about it. And I don't know why that's what I want to discuss.
I'm indifferent about it either.
It startled me.
Usually I kind of have an idea of like what he's going to say when we come back. I did not expect
That's
that.
the one thing, because we have like the baby faces with the other guys.
Yeah.
And then Benson now looking all dapper.
Yeah. A little bit of a rugged look at it.
I'm yet to form an opinion, but we are getting ready now for the search and destroy. I mean, I'm kind of with Teep. I mean, last time we saw them play this, it was. And I know they played obviously online with the 500 series, but like it was brutal.
Regardless, it's kind of hard to pick eLevate in this one because there's so many questions with this roster, right? You've heard like a lot of rumors, like that they're going to start replacing, some of the guys. For a while, I thought this was not going to be the team you saw at this event.
Yeah.
And you have an EnVy team that's rolling, like clicking on all cylinders. It's kind of hard to pick a team that you think, could potentially make a change after this or doesn't feel really confident in their roster going in against a team that is such a powerhouse right now in EnVy.
Who do you want to kick things off with? It looks like it is going to be EnVy on the attack. Just taking a look through the various classes.
John's going to start off probably trying to snipe here at the beginning. So
you have a sniper for John and a sniper for Nagavin.
Right, which is kind of what you expect. But we'll go on board with the offensive side. We'll go on board with John. See if he can get a pick here early for EnVy.
Looking over the top, he doesn't get an angle. Nagafin actually ends up switching, so he is going to be going with the AR. John, right back to him. He's in top window, looking for kills. Almost able to find one, not able to snap on. Going to keep peeking over the top. Nothing new in yet. You can see it's a pretty slow push. It looks like they're playing around him getting a pick right now. He is just missing by a hair with some of these blind shots.
This player in the mid needs to adjust his spot, and you see he has
look
done
at
that.
Aqua. All right, I hear these.
Aqua has now moved to a spot where he cannot be easily picked off. So see the EnVy push is going to be very slow here on the offensive side of things. And John's
like, I got to go. He needs help.
I think he has an idea that there's players pushing him pretty aggressively, and he's actually going to call it out. J-Cap's going to look over him. He's going to be able to pick up one. J-Cap not able to get the second player, though. John knows that Aqua's right around the corner. He's going to have 2 players there, though. John trying to put some long-range shots with the L-car. What is going on? Somebody kill each other!
What was that awful gunfight?
Oh,
but ultimately, comes to John. Trying to get the bomb. Look at the time that's left. They still have to plant the bomb.
And Flasher's coming on a flank here from his own spawn. This is one of the more bizarre rounds of Infection S&D you'll see in a while, but Sento actually sees one get by, has no idea where the second player is.
He just needs to catch the carrier and try to get out if he's able to do it. Let's check. Let's get the
I don't think he's going to get him in time. He's going to be a hair late here. Yep. Going to miss by a second. Going to be able to take out Abdi. Make it 1-1. Oh! Put some nice shots in Slasher, not able to finish him off. EnVy gets round number 1.
Basically, every gun sight out of those two outside of those two went down in the spawn of EnVy
The
for the most part.
The Aqua John gunfight was one of the ugliest gunfights we've seen in a while.
It was entertaining, though. I enjoyed myself.
It's 100 Thieves-esque.
Yeah. All right. Well, it is going to be.
They're not even like, they don't even really
I really have no idea what's going on there. But let's check the break. It looks like John going to be wanting to snipe again. Naga, for now, is not going to have it out. It looks to be eLevate wanting to get a bit more aggressive than we saw from the side of EnVyUs, at least, kind of playing around that pick.
Well,
there is one player in the back. I've highlighted. Apathy's one that got the nail on the top.
And that's usually why you have trophies out on that street. Like, if you're not going to run flak jacket, like, your assault rifle player will throw down trophies because the nades coming in, whether it's tacticals or lethals, obviously, coming over the top from the defensive side of things. But no trophies there on the side of eLevate, no flak jacket either. So Felony gets hit with a nade right in his mouth at the beginning of a round.
Well, Apathy got that first blood. I thought maybe the eLevate side was going to think about kind of pushing through. I thought he might be the one to deal with it. But as of now, that does actually look like it's going to be a plan. They are going to push through, and it's Apathy. It's there. He's able to find one, not able to find the last player. It is going to be on Facento again. He's going to be in a 1 versus 3. He does have the bomb, thankfully. That is literally the only thing going for him.
Yeah, it's the only positive thing that he has right now. But he's been spotted here in the back. He has no real route to exit. He's going to get one. He actually puts a lot of tags to the second player, though. John with the snipe.
You saw him peek over the top there. We'll see it from his POV. Is John able to hit the shot, misses the first, wants a second try. This time able to hit it. Nice shot from John.
A pretty nice shot there. It's kind of, it's pretty insane there from John. He makes it look so easy as well.
Well, I mean, as his teammate dropped there, that's a pretty confident.
Yeah. So you saw Jack in the All-Star game, stage 2, but not that easy.
Jack is one of the worst snipers I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to say. But EnVy back on the offensive side of things, up 2-0 rounds.
And see, that's what the trophy's for.
That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Throw the trophies down. Yep, that's why. See, it blows up any incoming tacticals or lethals on your teammates trying to push down the street. Then they don't have to run flak. They can run afterburner and get there a little bit faster.
All right, nice little bit of a bait and switch. He's able to get out. They do make the trade. It ends up being 3 for 1.
This is ugly.
Poor Facento by himself yet again. The lone man. EnVy continues to roll. TP talked about 6-0. It's looking a lot like a 6-0 thus far.
I mean, eLevate really hasn't done anything to stop EnVy whatsoever.
Not yet, no. They have to figure it out on both ends.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if eLevate adjusts their offensive push this time, like whether we see flak jacket come out of the guys or trophy systems. Like, they can't just go to that same thing, just walking down the B street. It's probably not going to work.
Well, let's get back. We're going to go with Nogavin. We're going to go with the Goose Cam. I'm sorry, buddy, but he's 0-3 to kick things off. Not that the rest of his teammates are carrying the show at this point.
No trophies on anyone from the side of eLevate, cycling through some classes. So obviously not going to try that B street push again. You're going to see them come straight through the B bomb site, through the mid. It's going to be Aqua picking up one, Facento with another. JCap's going to answer back. See John hit a 6 snipe there on Naga up top, and they will not be peeking that again anytime soon. You see JCap pick up another one. So in a round where eLevate gets the first 2 kills, seems like they're about to lose this. You see a glitch there.
And that was a good glitch. He thought he was dead there. He sent the pistol out. Got some information. I mean, okay.
Yep.
You risky little man.
Well,
do not fall off the map in a 1v1, please. Okay. All right.
He's going to just try and get an advantageous position here. Now with the bomb down.
He's got the HC to work with. Do you think that comes into play here at all?
I mean, you're up 3-0. Like, you could use the HC. It's not like a desperation thing where you need to save it and like for a later round. Like, you could kind of gamble and go after it here.
Nice save for him too. Felony probably assumes he's picked up a gun at this point, but he goes from having the SVG plus the L-car. He's now going to have M8 VMP combo, and this is probably going to turn out to be a thing of timing. Flanking from behind is going to be Felony. The shots come, and now around on the board. Finally for eLevate.
There you go. They get one on the board.
Round of applause.
Probably not in the fashion they would have liked. I mean, they get the first 2 kills, and then it comes down to a 1-on-1 scenario. But still, Felony with a nice play there. The 1v1 against John, able to come from behind, take him out. And that's probably one where John would like to have his glitch back, right? We said it was a good glitch use to just get that vision, then get back. But right there, glitch probably would have been pretty useful. But
yeah,
I mean, hindsight, right?
If he doesn't glitch, he's getting gunned there. I don't think he was going to win that with the L-car, but I don't know.
Well, I think he would have made it back around the wall.
Maybe, yeah, it's tough to tell. But after losing the round, yeah, it's easy to look back and say maybe
there's a 98% chance he makes it back around that wall. That guy was not looking at it.
Well, this is similar to what we saw. Remember the opening round, where basically the entire fight went down. Oh, check behind the rock. Check behind the rock. There's a man behind you. There's a man behind the rock.
Yeah, no, he's not checking the rock. Yep. Nice first kill there from Apathy. Sento coming on a wild, aggressive flank. and does not check behind the rock as we kind of wanted him to, and he gets taken out. So John's going to use the HC. He's going to see there's actually one player playing inside of the B bomb site, so he's going to just alert his teammate before he goes in and play the bomb, and actually they probably spotted him run out in the cam of the HC, so.
Well, later.
John looked right over the top of JCap. Good cover there. And
Felony evaporated.
Yeah, Envy gets bombed down. Felony tries to push in, make a play. He gets taken out. Now it's going to be a 4v2, actually make it a 3v2 in favor of Envy after Aqua picks up Slasher.
Narrowly gets away with his life. It's Nogafin by the site. There needs coming in, trying to challenge here. He needs a little bit of help. He's able to put some shots in, not able to finish it up, but now it's going to be Aqua. He's on a 1v2, 20 seconds on the clock, sees one. Nice shot, able to tag him up. He's so close to Heatwave, and this would be so clutch. If he wins one, I might give it to him, but there's the headshot coming in from Cap.
It's just great passive play there from Envy. Like, they don't force anything. Like, nobody's challenging a wild gunfight. Like, they just know they have the player trapped in the corner of the B bomb site, and they just play it effectively. A good round there from Envy.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, if somehow he had the Heatwave available, maybe he's able to slide out and tag up both. But like you said, Envy played it so smart. I don't know what chances he really had there. I mean, unless he got like a lucky one burst kind of on the player peeking behind the rock, that'd be about it.
And you still have Nogafin at 0-5. I mean, one of the better S&T players we had in CWL.
Yes,
really struggling.
But he's been playing with Jack more and more.
Is that a thing now?
Oh, no, we've learned that it really, really hurts your gameplay.
So, Nogafin struggling here in this one. Trying to get down that B street. He's going to just put some vision there on the corner. Nobody's going to be there. Envy's not going to challenge it. It seems like just by their setup, they're going to give the plant up here at B. But eLevate just so passive right now. Does not want to be the first ones in. Now, Cap's going to pull out an HC, and it stays alive inside the B bomb site. So this is just going to delay the push of eLevate even longer.
Yeah, this is perfect. I mean, you have basically an extra player on the map sort of right now. As you're just getting vision here, just keeps peeking. Finally, it is going to drop. JCap's back up. He sees his teammate get obliterated there by Facento. Apathy, I've got him highlighted on your mini-map. We'll go to him as he's going to be the one here that's going to have to make a big pinch.
Yeah, and you see Aqua is going to be able to win one gunfight open top. Grandma, Felony gets one, and then Nogafin closes it out, gets his first kill of the game there. eLevate takes another round, but I feel like even the 2 rounds that eLevate took, like, they haven't looked like great. I feel like it's been, some mess ups from the side of Envy that is kind of giving these rounds away. The first one, it was kind of a mess up by eLevate, right? I mean, they get a 4v2 man advantage and they kind of dwindle it away down to a 1v1, and Felony comes out on top. But this has not been a great performance thus far from eLevate here in Search and Destroy.
Well, let's see if they can battle back, get it done on the defensive end of things. Well, let's hop to the other side, because if anything, there's likely going to be a gunfight going down here. Who went up top? That's actually Aqua on defense. He peeks the edge for just a second, but it's John opening things up with the snipe. Let's get to his POV. He must have gone over the top and hit one middle. That shot kind of we saw him doing, the opening round 1.
Yeah, and he didn't hit it in opening round 1, but now that he's hit it, look at how spread out the defense has to get. I mean, they have 2 players over on the B street. They have one guy who has to kind of commit to A just in case the rotation comes in from Envy. But now Envy has the man count over at the B bomb site. Now they can trade this out pretty effectively. There's just one player around the corner. Facento uses his glitch, picks up another. Beautiful use of glitch there by Facento. Does not mean anything in the end, though.
Yeah, I was about to say,
picks up the final 2.
They won the round. That would have been flashy and one hell of a play.
Yeah,
no, still sick, but unfortunately, you see Slasher up top. We kind of saw his POV a little bit early in the round. He's able to pick up both the final kills. Nice shots coming in. Slasher continuing to assert his dominance.
I think it's great that Envy has a good team again. I feel like they've had some. I don't want to say bad teams for a while, but teams that have.
Yeah, you calling out TP right now? He's right over there.
I mean, teams have not lived up to kind of the reputation of the envious org, and I feel like
TP. I would never say that, buddy.
He definitely
would never say that.
He definitely would. He just wouldn't say it right now, but I'll say it. I mean, it's kind of great that they have a great representation of the Envy organization now. And Aqua goes with Heatwave over the top, hits the trophy system. Slasher takes him out.
I thought it was going to hit the player, right? No. Apparently not. Well, that Heatwave got smoked.
Yep. No, it's just a burn of Heatwave there, and it might not matter because Slasher picks up 2 there early. He's going to pick up a 3rd on Nogafin.
Oh, this should be it, unless Felony somehow becomes the magic man. There's one. He's Heatwave. He's down. EnVyUs now up 2-0. And remember,
thinking back
to Anaheim, did they have the best finish? No, but they cruised. They were. I think I remember us talking about. Yeah. Through day 1 at Anaheim, they looked like the best team.
They looked unbelievable.
Yeah. And of course, obviously, once we got to brackets and stuff, they fell apart a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think this team has been playing better for sure as a cohesive unit over the last month than maybe in Anaheim.
Yeah, I feel like this is a team that once they're, the confidence is high, like they're going to keep putting up performances like this. I'm just wondering, like later in the tournament, right, or maybe
John
later
is
in the
just
series.
Adorable.
Later in this series, like if eLevate puts up a good fight and like clutches up and really like blows EnVy out, like how they deal with it mentally. That's really what you kind of worry about with this EnVy team.
You get a shot there of the eLevate side.
They just don't look on the same page. Like I mean, you just look at it, like it just. Like, does that look like a team that like really like they want to like play with each other?
They just look sad.
Yeah.
They look
Does not
sad.
look good. Does not look good for eLevate.
You went to the shot of EnVy. It was all. I mean, okay, obviously, body language is going to be different when you're winning or losing.
Yeah.
But you see smiles for EnVy. Everyone looks pretty good. You go over to the eLevate side. It's just like. Well, actually, to be fair, John, that's exactly what John was doing.
Yeah, it's kind of the same pace that John was giving, but I do think there's a lot going on the side of eLevate that I know this is not a great series for them. I think they probably figure it out later in the tournament, but to kick things off against EnVy, man, EnVy looks really good.
Yeah, it's a rough start for day one, but it's not over yet. This is a best of 5, but to break down that search to destroy, we'll toss it back over to the boys.
Thank you, guys. As you said, Team EnVyUs now sitting 2-0 in the lead. You kind of, at the very, very beginning of our analysis going into that game, you all touched on the fact it's Infection. It's going to be 4-on-4 gunfights, and you can see why potentially EnVyUs could take it. They did replays. Break it down for me.
I mean, I said it before, like Infection's a very standard map. You see a lot of 4-man pushes, and a lot of those 4-man pushes come down the gunfights, and EnVy has a slaying power over eLevate, in my opinion, so you kind of saw it. I mean, every time they went down the street, EnVy just kind of took it over.
Yeah, simple things as well. There's a lot of times at the B Street, EnVy picked up intro kills with a grenade. John's sniper came into effect on some of those rounds as well. eLevate couldn't put anything together, catch EnVy off guard in any simple way. It went as planned, really. 4v4 pushes, EnVy got the better hand of it, and Cap's playing pretty well.
Yeah, and this is just what we talked about coming into this event, was that EnVy knows what it takes to win now. Like they're not going to make as many mistakes as before. Like you just see the trades. It just feels so smooth from them. And that's what happens when you win a tournament. You go home, you fix some things, but there's not much to change because you know how to win this event.
Yeah, they're definitely playing like that top tier team that we kind of expect them to now. We'll talk a little bit about JCap though. You've all teamed with them at some point. You, when you were 13, was the first time you ever played.
My first ever teammate.
Fun fact, first ever teammate in Variant, right?
Ever, yeah.
But as I said, you've all played with him. How much of a factor is that experience, do you think, to this squad that he's playing with right now? Mark, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean,
is it a big deal?
It's it just comes down from the sort of Rambo family tree. He sort of
the good old Ray family tree.
Right. Yeah. So he just sort of taught all of us that, like, set certain rules on the map, follow those rules, make minimal mistakes as a team, and JCap's been an advocate of that. Whatever team, guys like me, him, we get on these teams and we make sure that we're not making simple mistakes that can cost us the game, and you just see that in this team.
I mean, obviously you won World Championship with him, right?
Yeah.
And you think about the time of year, it's around about now. It seems like he kind of peaked a little bit last year. Is that kind of what we're seeing again now with JCap? Is he really finding the top of his form?
Yeah, I think as the game goes on, Cap just continues to get better and better, just because he has such a recipe of how to play COD. Like he just has like that method, like what you were saying, the Rambo Ray family tree.
I like that. The Rambo Ray family tree.
Honestly,
I love Ray.
He has a lot of credit even to our last year champs team. Like obviously we had the Slayers of Attach and Clay on the team, but he was one of the sole reasons, in my opinion, I've always said this, of why we were such a good team. He basically taught our team how to play CTF and uplink himself. He taught me a lot too, and then any team he's on, it's going to be a really good team.
There's a reason that there's a certain group of us that have been around for so long and consistently perform so well, and Cap is the definition of that. To be consistent is the biggest thing in competitive Call of Duty. It can be a fluky game at times at the competitive level, but there's a lot of things you can do to make it more consistent for you and your team, and that's what a player like Cap does for them.
Is he one of the last guys left from kind of like that old school kind of group of players now?
Proofy's still out there.
Oh, yeah, let's not forget about Proof.
There's a few of us still out there. They'll be in the
You say us,
soon.
you're sounding the analyst now. So
We did pretty well. Come on, man.
Oh yeah, you did. Obviously, world champions and whatnot. You guys are phenomenal players in your prime. But it is interesting, kind of talking about that Rambo tree, as you call it, and seeing players kind of develop. And for example, JCap right now looking very, very good. We'll take a look at the maps though. Obviously, EnVyUs sit 2-0 up in the series. Up next, we're going to go to evac uplink. Potential for a Fringe CTF and a Redwood S&D, but looking at you guys' faces, it's like, no, it's probably going to end here on the evac uplink. Replays, what are you expecting to see here?
I'm expecting to see EnVyUs win this map pretty easily. The way this map is formed out for John and Apathy, I think they're going to do a lot of slaying. They're going to relieve a lot of pressure for the ARs of JCap and Slasher. I think this is a very good map for EnVyUs. I know eLevate is a very good uplink team. We've seen them do very well, but I just think this is going to go out into their favor.
So let me ask you this, Steve. What does eLevate need to do here to win this map, keep this series alive? Is there something specific? Do they have to target players? What is the game plan?
All about drone control. That's all that uplink is about. If Envy can't just rotate the ball wherever they want, hold that top glass control, for example. If they can make Envy rotate to areas of the map that they are not comfortable in being in, that's their best way of creating favorable gunfights in their favor.
Yeah, and I mean, even if eLevate do take this map, you look at CTF Fringe next, and that's Envy's probably best CTF map. If you look at Stage 2 Finals, I think they beat, DT like a lot to a little. A lot, like, ridiculous. So, if eLevate is able to sneak this one by, I don't think it's going to get to a Game 5.
Yep. Okay, so you're basically saying this game is either over now or it's over in 10 minutes' time when they go over to Fringe CTF.
Yes.
Okay, so do you think it is over now, though, in terms of the uplink? Did they stand a chance here?
I mean, I think eLevate, this is one of their better game types. They obviously do stand a chance. They do have a good amount of teamwork, and this is the game type where that comes into play. So they do have a chance, but they have to keep up with the slaying from Envy.
Of course, they're a look at the open bracket as well. It's worth giving some love to them. Some phenomenal players. We've got Doug Sensor Martin. He's going to be playing throughout the open bracket. We actually just ran into him a few moments ago. It's great to see him back competing. I just want to see the Doug chant with the cheeseburgers back again. One of the greatest chants I've ever seen in Call of Duty esports, that's for sure. But in terms of this map that we're going to see replays, is this a suited map for eLevate, or would you prefer them to be playing on a different map to have a better chance of winning?
I mean, I think every uplink is good for eLevate. I just think right now, the way Envy is playing and the confidence that they have, I think no map right now is suited for them. I think Envy's going to take this pretty easily.
Okay. I mean, we're talking about, obviously, the ban and protect. It's about to get underway. Teep, is there a way of targeting something from Envy? How do you stop that Envy aggressive SMG pushes that we've been seeing? Is there something specific you can do here?
From what I've seen and what I saw at Anaheim from this eLevate squad is they need a man of war, to be quite honest. When they have that in, they play it very, very well as a team. They're able to play much more aggressive at longer ranges on those gunfights that could help on a map like evac. When they don't have it, we see them struggle.
We've seen it banned out twice, right? Both maps. Is it worth at this point go for a rush protect, maybe?
That's what I would do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll look out for spoke too soon. It's already gone.
And it's gone.
Boom, straight out of there. I believe that's Slasher with the ban. Overdrive as well going to go. Kind of a standard ban when you look at uplink as a game type. I mean, now you got my hopes up there with the potential protect amount of war. Now it's gone. I mean, business as usual, it seems like, Mike.
Yeah, and I mean, you can tell by the eyes on eLevate. It seems like they're trying to figure out something, that maybe they did want to protect that man of war. Maybe you go after the submachine guns, but for the guys on Envy, they do like the HVK. I've seen John and Apathy use it, so if the subs aren't, it's basically like, sort of a hybrid assault rifle as submachine gun. So, there's just so many tools that Envy has. It's going to be very tough to sort of figure out what they need.
I mean, your concussions, your flashbangs, they've gone as well. Overclock HC, there goes High Cal, as well as the final ban. Now over to the specialist draft. We'll see what we're going to get here. Of course, Overdrive did go. Looks like Tempest from Slasher. Are we expecting to see anything out of the ordinary here from eLevate? I feel like not, right? You kind of need to play your own strength at this point.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to play to your own strength. I don't think we're going to see anything too crazy, especially in the special draft right now. You're going to get your pretty consistent specialists used here.
Heatwave coming in from Nagafen. We'll see Camo coming from Facento. Will we see anyone grab the kinetic from eLevate? That's the question. I mean, is Felony going to go for kinetic? Yep, there he's going to grab it. Active Camo there from JCap. So it's pretty similar draft all around there. In fact, I believe that's a complete mirror matchup. It is. So kind of business as usual for them. But in terms of your predictions, you're all looking at me to say it's just going to be a 3-0.
Envy have it. We talk about how well Cap's playing this series. We've been highlighting Slasher, and Cap is the one sort of not holding his own. We saw that at stage 2, but in this series, he's been unstoppable.
He started off with, what, 41 kills?
Yeah, I think it's 41.
In the hard point. Curious to see if he can continue that slaying going into this map. But we'll have to, of course, wait and see. The players just going to be editing their classes, getting those score streaks down. But Cap definitely does look very comfortable. I mean, like, you see this team, like, just all smiles. It seems like they just come here with good vibes. I mean, how important is that, though? Because I feel like people don't really understand just how important good vibes is as a team.
Oh, it's very important. And having that confidence and that good vibes within a team, like, after you win an event, we all have before, it's one of the most greatest feelings going into the next event, knowing that you were the team to beat. You know what I'm saying? They have so much confidence. They're so happy right now. No matter what team's in front of them, it's going to take a lot to stop them.
Well, I believe the game is about to get underway, so we can send it over to our wonderful casters for the game, Mr. X and me.
Benjamin. All right, game 3. EnVy
Yeah.
looking to close things out. Is it done here?
I think so. This would be one of our fastest 3-0s like ever.
Yeah,
I feel like.
it's
Series
funny.
has gone by really fast, but I can't see a way that eLevate takes this one.
Even though it was a 250 to 220 hard point, it didn't really feel that
no,
close.
it felt like more of a blowout in EnVy's favor
And
than
then
that.
game 2 was obviously pretty
Was
lopsided.
a blowout
You
in
felt,
EnVy's
you
favor,
felt
yeah.
like any round that eLevate took was just like a blessing.
Yeah.
EnVy completely in control. Can they close it out here? Now, this is a map we've talked a lot about. Has it become more 50-50? Sure. I think when you take a look at strong versus weak, I feel like
Debatable,
Breach
but-
still takes the cake, but this has gotten, teams have learned to play better. And that's why I'm kind of wondering if the reason maybe it seems like things are so much tighter at the top is just with the focus this year on obviously a lot of our lands towards now August, September, with the change in champs. Is it just teams are getting better? You know, early in the game, if you're a team like Optic Gaming, you can get by purely on gun skill. Like, you really, really can. Like, early in the game, when teams aren't exactly sure how to play, you know, certain CTFs, certain uplinks. But now, we're so far into the game, that advantage sort of maybe starting to disappear. It's now more, I don't want to say strategy, but more just knowing what the hell you're doing to some degree compared to early in the game.
You should know what the hell you're doing at the beginning of the game.
You should, but I think there's a bigger gap in that.
It's not like an excuse. Like,
I know, but
we had no idea. You know, you're supposed to take
But there
the
is-
drone over by glass side and AC. That's crazy.
we saw some stuff though early in the game.
Like-
I mean, these modes are definitely played different than they were earlier.
Oh, yes, but I feel like you kind of, I don't know. At least from my perspective, like you watch something like this get played out, it's like, well, like you should be making that play. Like that's
Yeah.
like not an obvious play to make, but like a pretty simple one. So
Well,
we'll see.
yeah.
eLevate start on the more preferred of the two sides.
Yes.
One where you can rally the drone, pick up some easy scores. Now it seems like drone's just going to get tossed onto the EnVy side of the map, and
It's pretty
you know,
common.
slash or wrap with it. And this is what you usually see from the side that EnVy's on. They're going to wrap
Apathy
the
already
top
picked
side.
up a kill. He went straight towards Kitchen, was already able to find one, so he's going to be leading the way. We'll get on with him for a second, see if things maybe open up for a dunk. He's going to be flying out. He's probably enough of a distraction, at least for a one-point toss to go through. Slasher is kind of looking for his spot here, pushes forward. That's 3 down. You get absolutely nothing. You have to get 1 point there.
Yeah, it seemed like they were playing for, obviously, like a 2-point play in that situation, but I think you just got to take the 1. And now you see eLevate making a really nice push up the map. You see Felony highlighted on your mini-map, bringing the drone up the middle, and there should be a 2-point play for eLevate, and he actually stops there just a second early, throws it in, guarantees his team the 1. So I feel like he would have gotten the 2 there. Like, he wasn't getting tagged up until he jumped, actually, to go in for the 2. So
Now look at
I
the
feel like
spawn.
he would have made it, but now you see the spawns coming in. eLevate has complete control of the EnVy base, and this is why this map is pretty punishing, David. If you don't get control of this drone here, it's just going to be score after score for eLevate.
The movement, a struggle right now for Felony. He finally does get out, and this should be another dunk. I mean, thankfully, they have such good control right now. They're able to get more points on the board, but now's an opportunity maybe for a counterattack for the side of EnVy as they've got control of drone. They should be able to bring the pressure forward here as the spawn starts to come in for eLevate. One more player to beat. Unfortunately, that's a Hellstorm coming in there from Nogafin, which that Hellstorm probably saved them from at least getting a 1-point toss there as they were pushing forward.
Yeah, I would definitely say at least a 1-point play would have went in there for EnVy, and it still might. You see, after
Yeah.
you pick up the drone, he's going to try and wrap all the way around the back. You see a lightning coming in, though, now for eLevate. It doesn't get anybody, and EnVy's going to get a 2-point play out of this. The lightning gets John towards the end of it, but doesn't get the drone carrier, doesn't get JCap, the 2 most important players in that push for EnVy.
And that too is huge. I mean, do you expect to be down a bit from this side if you're EnVy? Absolutely. But what was looking like it could be, you know, a 10-0 opening half, now EnVy's got a little bit of life. They're wrapping it topside correctly here, just trying to take their time, get a 1-point in. JCap hits everything but the damn player.
It's going to force Slasher to throw the drone on top of his base for that long reset, as EnVy's now going to have to battle for control of the drone side of the map yet again.
Nogafin here, pushing through mid-map. He has Heatwave to work with. You already saw him getting some streaks going early as he was the one kind of rallying in those dunks. Looking back, finding one at mid-map, but not able to find the kill. Felony trying to find one at home as well, not able to do so. So let's get back now to the drone spawn. See who's able to start to make a play. It is going to be drone in hand now for John. His teammates need to open things up. He wants to be gun up as Aqua just picked up 2. You see with the L-Car and the HVK coming in. The Heatwave's going to go off. He's finding another kill. Now can he get any points on the board? Not able to win one more.
And I think if you're EnVy and you can hold it to this, I think you feel pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Because what could have been a massive lead for eLevate, you were able to kind of fight back a little bit, get a 2-point play on the board. You burn the streaks on Nagafan. So I think you feel pretty good if you're EnVy going into the second half. You can hold them to this.
Well, Aqua tries to hit the flick there with the Tempest, not able to do so, but the distraction does open things up for the 1 point to go through. So eLevate, finally some life in this. And, you know, we've talked about this year, I think with having 4 game modes and the disparity between games 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, really in just overall style, we've seen more reverse sweeps, more big comebacks than I think we've ever really seen in Call of Duty. So don't count eLevate out. I know we all felt the 3-0, but they still got a chance. I don't know that I feel that good about this lead being only 4 right now with EnVy with the slaying power we've seen. You got to think when they go onto the stronger side, they've got a good opportunity to really open things up.
Look at the rally that the side of eLevate went on. I mean, what, it was 5 points pretty quick. You see a 1-point play from Nagafan go over the top of there, so it's going to make the score 7-2 in favor of eLevate. But eLevate put 5 points on in a hurry against EnVy. You got to assume that if EnVy can get their SMGs like Apathy and John into the eLevate base, they can easily do the same. And you see Camo coming out here for Vicento. It's going to bring this one around the back. It's going to be a 2-point play for eLevate. They got 9-2, and this is what EnVy could not afford to let happen here, maybe. It was a good first half when it was a 3-4 point game, not now.
And the question is, though, do you get a half like this out of Aqua again? He is 17-9. Aqua has been shredding EnVy as they're firing through another dunk. You see the HBK finding a kill as well. They may be able to rally more. You still have 30 seconds on the clock. They're spawning them out. This should be more points. We'll move over to Nagafan as he's going to have yet another dunk. They may be able to rally forward to another one. So this, basically, it was a great opening 60 seconds and a great closing 60 seconds for the side of eLevate, as this has just changed completely. He wants to go, what was that?
That was pretty bad. That was just bad. You see Apathy's going to get
If he just ran out of there, he would have probably been able to get points.
Probably.
Just left.
Yeah. If he did anything but what he did, he probably would have turned that into points. But Apathy's going to get one. He's going to try and get a throw here in the middle of the map. He's going to get cut down before he even gets a chance at it. It's going to be eLevate up 13-2 here. The end of the first half.
Is that too much of a lead with a team like eLevate?
It might be.
You got to think, what was it? It was 11-point comeback on Breach when Optic came back on Rise. I think that's the biggest comeback we've had this year in Uplink. It's got to be close to that.
I will say that this map is pretty punishing. That if EnVy gets control of the eLevate base, like, you could rattle off 8 points in a hurry. So.
Well, we just
there
saw
was one map.
What, to go from 6-2?
Yeah. I think it's actually more likely you see like a crazy comeback on a map like this than Breach. I mean, we did see that Optic comeback on Breach, but I feel like this is a map that is set up for more of a comeback than that. You see a nice shot with the Tempest through the smoke there from Slasher. Apathy's going to get one. Another Tempest shot.
That's 3 down.
So this is already not starting off good for eLevate. You see EnVy's going to bring the drone up into the eLevate base. And oh, the streaks come out. Nagafan with another lightning. He's able to take out
3,
2.
baby. Now that's a defensive stand. And that's why those streaks, I mean, okay, so that
Huge.
was 3 down for eLevate. Nagafan was basically the only man up by, I think, 1 spawn on the top side. I was just about to say he has to get everything done with the gun and the streaks, able to open things up, and now you may have a chance to get some points on the board. The melee comes in, the heat wave is popped, and this could be an opening dunk here for eLevate. That is not what you needed if you're EnVy.
That is crushing if you're on the EnVy side. I mean, you're 1 kill away from securing the eLevate base, pushing up, probably starting a good rally to put your team in a good position to take this game. It's starting to get their 2-point plays on the board rather quickly. And they squander that opportunity, but Nagafan just makes a tremendous individual play. But now you see AC control goes in favor to EnVy, and here comes Felony coming through the middle of the map, not able to get the drone carry. He gets shot in the back.
John
this is going,
life,
this is going to be a 2-point play from EnVy. They need to rotate and get drone control. This actually might be another score from EnVy here rather quickly.
Well,
they should be able to get drone and pass it forward.
If you decide to all overextend, you're a lot of times kind of giving up another dunk, and that's not actually what happens at all. All 4 down for EnVy. eLevate, I think it was, 3 overextended, 1 wrap back to the base. Those 3 players pick up all 4 kills. That was phenomenally done.
Now you're going to see the Tempest come out from the side of eLevate. Nagafan's going to go over the top, just going to try and hit this 1-point throw, and he connects with it. Nice play there. He's going to pick up 1, almost lines up a 2nd, but Felony picks up 2. And now it's just going to be Felony. And the 1-player line from EnVy on the other side of the map is going to be Slasher. He drops, so Felony still keeping that drone side of the map control for eLevate. This is huge.
He's just being a nuisance right now. Now they're going to wrap it back. You can waste a solid 60 seconds or so. The only issue is this man here. If Slasher can make a big play, once he's spotted, now he should be spotted, not able to get it off. This is actually going to turn into a counter opportunity. He's got 1 on his left, 1 in front as well. Not a whole lot of help. Actually, he does have John behind him. to try and make a play. John drops basically as soon as I bring up his name. Everyone falls around Slasher. He's going to have to make an individual play. He's able to win 2. There's one coming from behind me. He's going to just reset this in mid, play his life, and continue to be a thorn in the side of eLevate. But at this point, you don't need thorns. You need to get some damn points.
Well, he throws it off, and because they have John set up over on drone side. Slasher comes through the middle and picks up 2. They're going to get a 2-point play out of that. And you see John with the heat wave. Pull out your gun. There you go. For a second, he thought about going with the fist there. That would not have been a good option. He's going to be able to pick up Vicento as well. You see Apathy coming through drone spawn. He's going to be able to pick up 1. There's still a ton of time for Envy in this. I mean, they're going to get a 1-point play out of this.
But they already lost control. They get the 1.
Well, no, they have players set up here.
Well, it's Slasher puts 2 bursts in his teammates'
Yeah,
thigh.
not ideal. So you see Slasher going to try and hold the drone side for Envy. He's got 1 player directly above him. He's going to be able to take out Felony. He has another player coming through mid. They're able to trade that out. These next few kills are huge for Envy. Could kind of decide the game, whether they make this a game or not. You see JCap's going to grab drone. John drops, so now it's going to force JCap to throw drone down and try and fight.
He needs a little bit of help here. He has Camo to work with. That help comes in. Slasher's able to find 2. They follow. Don't find the 3rd. How does Nagafin get 2 kills there?
They body stack. I mean, you can't just stack up like that. Apathy's going to be able to pick up 2. If they don't stack up like that, Nagafin gets traded out. This is a push from Envy. Just some minor mistakes from the side of EnVyUs here in this uplink.
We saw 7 points go up in about 60 seconds for eLevate. You're looking at being down 9 now. Is it doable? Sure, but you have to play flawless here. The camo comes out. They're trying to body block it, but thankfully the kill does come in for Envy. They've got a chance here, but they need somebody at drone to make a play. There's a flanker in Aqua who might disrupt things, though. He's able to pick up the kill. And look, he's got free reign here to watch over the drone, pick up players off spawn, and that's likely going to ice things.
Yeah, Aqua's just going to go and try and lock down this back spawn area. So he's going to be able to pick up 1 coming off. It's going to make the gunfights harder when they fight him at helipad, but you see just how much space he's given his team on the map by getting in that position. And you see Felony trying to run away with the drone. He's going to get cut down by Apathy, but still, something crazy would have to happen for Envy to come back in this one. You see the drones going to go in, so they're only going to be down 6. 30 seconds to go. I mean, technically, I think it is still possible, mathematically, but
I'm not saying it's done till it's done.
It would be very difficult.
JCap getting 4, needs a little bit of help, has to toss it lower. I think that was John in front. John's going to drop as well. Aqua able to pick up 2. Should be it unless a miracle comes through. That's 4 down. It's over. 10 seconds remaining. eLevate finally comes alive here. And now we've got ourselves a damn series. And like I mentioned kind of earlier,
CTF could go anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about the fact that that's the one game mode where I guess you never feel like there's a clear favorite, just because there's not really a dominant CTF team. I mean, sure, there are teams that are better than others, but not anyone that you're like, oh man, they're never going to lose this
And
match.
that one for eLevate, it was really, Aqua going off in the slaying department. He goes 33 and 22, but Nagafin with a fantastic game, 25 and 21. He had 4 carries of the drone and 3 throws, so putting up a lot of points for his team.
And it got him the streaks very early.
Yeah.
I mean, because they got that rally in the opening 60
2
seconds.
sets of streaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that didn't even really come from kills. Not that he had a bad game, but it was just from all the carries and all the throws.
But I do think, though, in the respawn game modes, you're going to need Vicento and Felony to come alive. I mean, Vicento goes 13 and 21. Like, if they play this uplink like 3 or 4 times and he puts up 13 and 21, they probably lose most of them. Well, so it's just a fantastic individual performance by Nagafin and Aqua.
That's kind of why I asked from the first side. I was like, can Aqua keep this up? Because if he didn't, they probably weren't going to win the game. But honestly, that 2-pointer at the very beginning of the second half was sort of the dagger for me. You're already down big. Envy had control. The streaks can come in from Nagafin. He gets those 3 kills.
And that's what I mean. Envy gets a 2-point play there. They get control of the eLevate base. I think it's a completely different second half.
All right, but to break that one down, we'll toss it back to the analysis desk.
Thank you very much, guys. Talking about that, eLevate showing a little bit of life now. Managed to get themselves on the scoreboard. We'll start with you. That first half, you had a lot to say when we were watching that one live.
It was very weird to see, especially out of Envy. They just decided to keep wrapping back over and over and over again. Then when they finally overextended, it was way too late. Something that you would, I don't know, I feel like I guess the play call was to wrap back every single time, but something that I wouldn't expect. Usually when you see a team, especially on evac uplink, start going down like that, it's usually just 4 overextend, go, get the ball, and it's all about drone control. They just didn't have any of it, and they weren't really playing for it. After like the 3rd time they got shut down by Aqua going off, you would expect them to start overextending more. I guess that's something that they just learned.
Yeah, exactly. You got to stop the bleeding somehow. And then when they started to go away from the wrapping back, you see 2 people wrap back, one guy go middle, one guy overextend. That's completely the opposite. You have to do something as a team, whether it's overextend through middle or all the way around. Drone control is what we said before this game. eLevate did it better, paid off for them.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at Nagafin, we sort of talked about it. When he slays well, this team performs at a different level than normal. So he plays well and alongside Aqua, and they're able to take this map.
Is this going to give them enough confidence now looking at Game 4 to potentially take it? I know we talked about CTF, and we talked about how it's one of EnVyUs' better maps, but eLevate showing a little bit of life. I mean, I feel like we talked about Hardpoint them starting slow, right? Yep. And then towards the end of the game, they play a little bit better. Search and Destroy, not really the case, but now they're finally on the board. Can they do it here?
I think they can. I mean, we did talk about a little bit in the Hardpoint that it kind of got overlooked since MV1. No one really slayed well except for JCap. And we just saw it there. No one slayed well, including JCap there. So if that's going to be the case of EnVy, we've always talked about, if they're not firing on all cylinders, and they might not be, this could be bad for them. But I think if they just play their game here, they should be able to win. This is a good map for them, but we'll see.
Already the Ban and Protects come in. Surprise, surprise. Ban of War gone. Overdrive, Smoke. Oh, is that Smoke? Yeah, Smoke Screen's gone. Concussion and Flashbang. So interesting.
No tacticals.
No tacticals whatsoever. I mean,
just EMPs, yep.
Straight up guns.
Yeah, smokes are really strong, especially on a map like this, to create those line of sights to get out when you're pulling out towards that train side from the granny house. It creates a nice alley so the players can't just go to that middle wood fence and shoot you crossing.
Anything else you're expecting to see TP here in this Ban Protect phase?
It's been pretty normal. Both teams have made the maps, at least the respawn's pretty close, so I think they're going to stick to their strengths on this one. The only one that wasn't really close is the Surgeon's Choice. So if we do go map 5, maybe it'll get a little bit crazy on the map 5. But
maybe see some variation come in. I mean, Rapid Fire, Overclock. Now just one more ban to come in. I believe there may actually be a restart here. So I'm maybe getting a little antsy on the buttons there, getting a little too excited. So we'll have to go through that phase once again and see exactly what changed. Maybe someone accidentally banned something. Who knows? But seemed pretty straightforward, right? Man? Nothing.
Yeah, just the smokes. I think he touched it on it, and then like on the other side too, if you smoke that flag and you're able to sort of create the illusion that you pulled that flag into the barn, maybe you just sort of wait. Maybe
so
you just made a
jukes now.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many things you can do with it. It's so versatile.
Especially with the smokes too. If you play CTF and you get to their base, if you do smoke off when they wrap back, you can get a flag out a lot quicker. Like if you might not be there in time, but the smoke will allow you to give you like an extra 2 seconds to pull it out and get it away. So that's definitely something that's important to ban, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it's played.
I remember the days of bamboozling flag runs from Shane. Oh, miss Shane playing. He was a good bamboozler with Shane with flags. But let's talk a little bit more. Elevate in terms of the CTF. What are they going to have to do here? What are they going up against? As we've talked about, all series long, JCap's his smarts, his leadership, but how do you beat that?
I mean, Elevate's definitely a good 3 and 4 game type team. We've talked about how many times they've lost a hard point and then they brought it back to the last map. But what are they going to have to do? They're probably just going to have Aqua slay like he's been. I mean, they really, really rely on Aqua very heavily to keep up with the slaying powers of EnVy and Optic and all that stuff when they play him. Aqua is probably their best talented player, so I definitely want to look at him to go off.
I think the biggest thing that they need to focus on is keeping pressure on the overextend, the weak side of the map, sending that player time and time again to catch that timing. I feel like a lot of the pro teams still haven't adapted to that style on some of these CTF maps, and it's something that you can use. All you need is that one time. If you continually pressure on the weak side, that means it takes away that player on EnVyUs that has to watch the back side of the map. So that's something that Elevate needs to do, in my opinion.
And then from EnVy's standpoint, Merc, you talked about exactly why they're so good at this map. Explain once again, why are they such a good CTF team?
It's just they do things fundamentally correct. That's where we talk about JCap. But again, if they're not slaying, up to par, then things can go bad. I mean, it's sort of to the point now where everybody knows the correct style. We're so deep into this game, but it's going to be about making those mistakes. And we talked how EnVy was making mistakes on that first half of evac. So, if they're doing that, they're going to have to, try to eliminate those.
But are you worried though that this could go to a game 5 for the EnVyUs boys? I feel like you still feel pretty comfortable.
I'm pretty comfortable with picking EnVy, but I mean they're showing signs of weakness.
Okay, and to your point, when we were saying how Elevate, they sometimes do go down in a series and then they kind of come back to that game 5. Traditionally, though, do they win the Search and Destroy? How important is that second map in their comeback? Are they definitely just a game 3 and game 4 team?
They're like a game 2, 3, and 4 team. Obviously, they lost the Search and Destroy, and that happens. You can't win them all, but it's not that important. If, like I said, going into CTF, especially after the way they just won that uplink, I think they're going to be completely confident. And those, especially, I was expecting EnVy to have that confidence, like I was saying, and then go into that last link and just completely powerhouse, steamroll it, and just be done with it. But apparently not. And like I said, they have not really been slaying as we expected. So this could be something that Elevate is happy to see.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see. I believe the game is actually going to be ready to go, so they canceled the restart. So apparently the game is ready to go. I'm not sure what the specialists were. I imagine just kind of usual specialists.
Probably the big 3 with Heatwave, Camo, and Kinetic, and then Tempest.
Overdrive was the only one that went. So in fact, there is the full Ban and Protect. This is exactly how it ended out. So Smokes, they're definitely going to be gone. Concussions, flashbangs. Curious to see who calls that. I wonder who it is. But anyway, the game getting underway. We can throw it over to our wonderful casters for the game. Mr. X, maybe.
Thanks, Ben. I thought there was
Hi.
going to be a reset as
Yeah.
well, but we are good to go. We're in game. We'll hop right to the action. Nothing going so far.
No.
It's 20 seconds
And,
in. Everyone was kind of getting
Yeah,
set up here.
so like they said, they did miss the specialist draft, so I'll just look through the specialists, kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on here. So Aqua's going to be running the Tempest. You're going to have Felony running Kinetic Armor. You're going to have on Facinto, Heatwave, and then on Nagafin, on the side of Elevate, you'll have Active Camo. On the side of Envy, you'll have John with Heatwave, JCap with Camo, Slasher with the Tempest, and Apathy with Kinetic. So a mirror matchup on both sides.
Well, you have 3 down right now for Envy, Matt. All right, let's talk. You know, you heard the analysis desk. You know, their thoughts kind of on this one. What's the biggest thing for you right now with Elevate? You know, I think it was TP, Replay's kind of talking about the fact that Aqua has to slay with these guys, but we know that slaying maybe not the most important thing in CGF.
He has to and he can.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you're going to have Felony and Facinto pick up big kills and big moments, like around the objective and make plays. Like, if you can't rely on just Aqua and Nagafin to pick up kills, like getting them to the base and then having them pick up kills in the base. Like, it's just too much relying on 2 players right now.
Well, let's switch over to Nagafin. He's going to be kind of pushing through for a possible pull. I don't think they realize. Look at the focus right now on the 4 NB players. They're not ready for this at all. He's going to pull it, try to get the back alley. You'll see number 7 on the minimap. I've got him highlighted. That's Felony that I was saying was going to get to him to help, but going to be just a little bit late. Long range gunfight though, able to win that. Can he somehow find his second? Not able to do so. Just trying to grab the flag. While this is going on, though, his teammates at least able to hold par there back at home, not allow NB to get anything going. We'll switch over to John, though, as he won a gunfight at Elwall. Might be able to win a second here at Trax. Not an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination, but he's at least keeping a couple players at bay here.
I mean, he gets Vicento pretty weak, though. I mean, Vicento has to back down, wait for Felony to come challenge John there in the connector, and you see Apathy and JCap pick up 2 kills. Now you're going to see Apathy try and work his way down track. He's got 1 player playing behind. He just challenges wildly, and Nagafin gets taken out. That's a very odd kill there. And so he's going to use the HCXC, get some vision on where players are, but his 2 teammates there in support both get taken out. So it have to be a miracle play from Apathy if he was able to get a pull. He's going to get taken out. Elevate holds serve on the defensive end. They're able to lock down their base. Now they're going to have to go on the offensive end. You'd like to see Elevate actually get at least 1 flag on the board here, because I feel like attacking towards that barn side definitely the more preferred option.
Well, let's see if they can get anything going. U2, sea grenades coming up over the top. Aqua tagged, but still up. He's got a little bit of help here with Felony. Felony just flew over the top right at JCap, able to make a play. 2 down for either side now. And we've really only seen, the 1 pull from Nagafin was just about, that was it. I mean, and this is a map, you see that on like Stronghold or something from time to time, sure, but this is a map that can get a little bit, higher scoring. What was it, an 8-0 victory? Didn't they beat DT 8-0 or something like that in stage 2 final?
So what you usually see is from the side that Elevate's on, like they push all the way to the back of this barn. The other team, which obviously Envy is right now, they would end up spawning in that back alley, that bottom side of your mini-map. And then you just watch the cross, and you're able to lock down the mid, lock down the rotation back to their own flag. Pretty much forces Envy to go all the way through auto and tin and go on the overextension.
Well, you see now at the top right, basically everybody's starting to get tagged in gold. All these abilities and weapons starting to be up now for either side. Do you think this is something where they're probably just going to wait through the second half for a big opening push, or maybe somebody's going to get a little aggressive here in the final
Envy, I probably hold on to them. If you're Elevate, you kind of got to realize how important this first half is, and maybe use half of them. Maybe use something like a camo to get close. Maybe use something like kinetic, and they actually do use the kinetic there. And it's going to be Felony not able to slide out of bar.
Felony's movement, that's like their third time, right? Just looks awkward.
Yeah, but it looks like he is going to be home free unless the Envy can make this push down the mid-street. Nobody was watching the mid-street. He's going to get tagged up a little bit. Doesn't matter, though. It's going to be Felony putting in a flag for Elevate there in the final minute.
So, right as I asked you, basically, he probably popped kinetic as we were having that conversation. They get 4 down. There's 40 seconds left. There might be a chance for a play. Where does the spawn come in for Envy? It's going to come right on top of the flag. So this is going to be difficult for Aqua. He wasn't, kind of seemed like he wasn't sure if he got forward enough to maybe spawn them back alley, if he got in the way of that enough. That's how you counter camo, baby. The heat wave comes in, shuts it down for now. The flag pool comes through, but Envy so far able to hold. And now with this much time on the clock, you got to think even if a late pull were to come in, not really enough time to get it home. So we're going to be looking at a 1-0 advantage here for Elevate, who's trying to rebound in this series, pull off the reverse sweep. A good start, but is 1 enough from that side, I guess is the question.
I don't think so, to be perfectly honest with you. I think you look going into the second half. I mean, obviously, Vicento, he was struggling most of that game. He had like 3 kills up until like the last minute and a half. He comes alive a little bit towards the end, finishes with 7. But you got to imagine that EnVy is going to put a lot of pressure with their SMGs over by the barn side. It's whether if eLevate can hold serve or not.
All right, well, we'll get ready for the second half here in a moment. Let's take a quick look just at the slang throughout this first half.
And you have Apathy with his kinetic armor to kick things off here, so potentially could make a play with that.
No one really, Felony kind of leading the way, but no one really standing out. Everyone kind of in the middle of the pack, somewhere between like 7 and 12 kills. No one really going off to this point. You haven't seen any streaks really come into play except a couple HC cars. Apathy is able to pick it up, and you can see he's 75 off the HC. And like you mentioned, he does have kinetic to work with as well. Trying to get some shots in there over the top of wood. An HC down tracks is going to get shut down. Cap's also going to find that kill here, open things up a little bit for a submachine gun player, Apathy, to get forward.
Again, they just want to get Apathy into the top barn, and then that's when you could make that push with the kinetic armor. So it's going to be players from EnVy working their way down tracks. He's going to have JCap there with him. Now you see the kinetic come out. He's able to get one. He's going to wait for his teammate to push around the back, and Cap actually back there, and he gets taken out by Aqua, so it's a huge kill there.
It became a solo mission very quickly.
And they kind of burn the kinetics. That's a really good defensive stand there for eLevate.
Yeah, you get the 1 kill. It just ends up being insignificant. His only option there, and obviously he was kind of waiting on Cap for sure, but he might have been able, as soon as he popped that, get the kill, go in, get a flag, get right back in the barn. As you saw on X-Ray, kind of 2 players wrapping back. Now, Slasher able to get it, not able to turn it into anything. JCap here a little bit late to try and assist him. He's very close to getting that camo, though.
Yeah, but if JCap just locks down this mid-street area, they can try and push all the way through tracks in again. And you still have Apathy and Slasher working their way down tracks. Apathy's in a good spot here. Over by Little Room, he's going to have 1 player directly in front of him. Misses a lot of shots initially. Then he's able to take out Vicento. Has another player behind him. John's going to be able to clean him up. So this could potentially be a good push for EnVy here.
They should be getting a flag pulling moment. 3 down. There's going to be the pull. Not able to rally it forward, though, as Aqua was in from behind. Aqua actually gets down 2, shuts down just about everything. There's 1 player remaining in Apathy. That should have been a Cap if Aqua didn't clutch up like that and get 2 kills. You're probably looking at a tie game early in the second half.
And Apathy just trying to stay alive. Wastes enough time for his teammates to get into a position to help him, but it's a little late. John's able to come in, pick up 1. JCap gets 1 with a nade. But
how long can you hold like this?
No, you can't. eLevate cannot hold this forever. Eventually, EnVy is going to end up picking up like 2 kills, and they're just going to overwhelm them here over by Barn. And you see you have Heatwave on John. If they get control of this back area and kind of force eLevate to play from their flag, John can slide now, pick up the flag, Heatwave, and he's gone. And he takes out their Heatwave player, so that's huge. Vicento uses his Heatwave, and now you see John pop his, but he gets taken out during his Heatwave as well. JCap comes in, tries to get a flag, and he doesn't pick up anything. That is a good defensive stand yet again from eLevate.
The Heatwaves, one of the most powerful abilities in the game, not really providing much for either side. Slasher in behind, has Tempest to work with. We'll take a look at the mini-map. Where does he want to pull this? He's got coverage up the middle. That's about it. Doesn't check the back. Should be dead in just a moment. Not able to turn and burn there as his teammates back at home, falling as well. Now, this is probably the first bit of offense we've really seen out of the side of eLevate. They're able to get a cap from this side, put the lead out to 2 with 2 minutes remaining. That would be a bit of a dagger, you would think. Here comes the flagpole. It's in front for him. He just has to cover the backside. There's 1 player up ahead. It's going to be John, who might be able to get to. You see the flag out for EnVy as well. This stalemate could be everything.
John's going to go try and cut this off straight through Barn. He gets taken out. Apathy's got the flag all the way through Tin over by Grandma.
The longer this goes on,
this is good for eLevate.
Right?
Yeah, without a doubt. EnVy is the one who needs to make the aggressive play here. So you see you have, looks like that is going to be JCap set up back alley. You had Slasher coming down tracks. Both of the players drop. Now it's going to be just on John here in the mid-street trying to pick up kills. He grabs 2, but now he has to go back, make sure Apathy is safe at his own base. So it's not really going to be able to make a play on the eLevate flag. And you see where eLevate has that flag all the way in the back of Barn behind the rocks. Such a difficult spot to get to.
Well, let's go through the EnVy players. You've got Tempest here to work with. Nothing. And an HC, maybe Heatwave comes into play if you go nuts here. Oh, no.
The HC of Nagavan blows up John's HC and
also blows.
Drops, but you see JCap able to put some tags in 1 player, not able to finish off the flag carrier, and you see Slasher's able to pick up 2. Now he's going to pull out the Tempest. Oh, fantastic shot there by Slasher.
Wow, and that's what you needed. Now the time cap will come in, but 40 seconds left. It's looking like OT, and the Slasher continue to go off, not able to do so. And it is
what a shot.
Game. That was disgusting. That reminds me of some of the shots you've like seen Clay hit over the back rock on Stronghold. That was nuts.
That was probably more difficult than we've seen, another player
You
hit.
didn't see anything.
He picks up 2 at the M8, then pulls out the Tempest, and he's able to just barely see the top of Felony's head over the top of that rock. He's able to take him out in time.
Looking like overtime, baby. EnVy comes up clutch when it matters. And Apathy's closing this out with a 4 streak. He's actually 50 off of his Hellstorm. So he may be able to pick that up.
And it would be huge if he can get it going into OT. So going to challenge player at the end of tracks, put some shots in. No teammate is able to finish him off. But EnVy in the last minute comes alive.
There you go. It looks like there's a little bit
When I say
more
EnVy
life
comes
there.
alive, I mean Slasher goes absolutely massive, saves the day for this team, forces OT.
No, that shot was filthy. That
Yeah,
was
that was
absolutely
sick.
filthy. That is the single reason for me that weapons are so big. Like the Tempest is so good in CTF for those kills on that guy in the back line. That's why kind of the EU CTF strategy makes
I mean,
me
you
so
can
nervous.
make an argument like, okay, he would have gotten it with an M8, but
No, we would not. That kill from that angle, no chance. Like
Yeah, I don't think so
that's nearly
either. But,
impossible without like high
I mean, that's
caliber
the
or
argument
something.
somebody would make, right? I kind of
Yeah,
tend to
yeah.
agree with you. Like the Tempest, I think in that situation, obviously, you'd love to have it. Now you saw the damage, you can do it there. But OT starting off, it's going to be JCap trying to defend his barn. There's 2 players up there. It's going to be Apathy able to take out 1. Apathy's going to grab another. So Apathy actually gets his Hellstorm, uses the kinetic armor to get it. But I do think that's a pretty good trade-off.
Yeah, you get the Hellstorm, which could be, a game-saving play. This might be an early chance for a score here. John's able to pick up 2. There's 1 to challenge in the back, and Slasher continues to be Captain Clutch for this side. He's got 1 more to beat. His teammate John's picked up 3 mid-map. That's 4 down for eLevate, and we'll watch the cap go home.
And you look at the mini-map, Elevate's going to have to funnel all the way down
they don't have
tracks.
a chance. Nothing
It's going to
they
be
can do.
Apathy there, but
Nothing
it
they
does
can
not
do.
look like they're going to
That's
even get
a quick one.
a chance to
From-
get that flag back.
From
52
the weaker
seconds.
side, technically, too. That is huge. And Slasher, man, well, that was a combination of Slasher and John. John was really picking up all the kills, but the one that mattered most, likely that 1v1 in the back. Slasher.
And they did a fantastic job of once they pulled the flag, they realized that there were 3 players coming off of spawn. 1 player had just spawned up. They knew that player was going to be coming from tin. They challenged that player. The others they knew were going to spawn behind them, and they pushed straight through tin to auto and ran the flag that way.
This is what's now scary. You have 52 seconds to score for eLevate. I know I want to watch the eLevate side, but I'm going to keep Apathy highlighted basically because he has the chance to shut the game down. If they get a flagpole, it's not going to be clean because he has that Hellstorm and a Dart, which technically come into play too.
JCap uses his camo at the beginning of that game. You still have John with Heatwave though on the side of EnVy. So if some utility there on the side of eLevate, you just have Pacento with Heatwave. So 28 seconds on the clock. It's going to be Nagafen who's able to get 1. Pacento picks up another. And now you see eLevate making a strong push towards the EnVy base.
Apathy calls it in, doesn't find anything, so is a Dart trying to win 1, able to do so. There's still some pressure coming in. It's going to be Felony winning 1, another in the back. Aqua's the remaining man. I don't think there's enough time. Not enough time for the pull, not enough time for the cap. EnVy's going to get it done in 4.
Yeah, and you see it's a kill from an HC there at the end on Aqua. Doesn't really matter though. EnVy holds on, comes back in the CTF. The fantastic score there. Individual plays by Slasher, I think, really won them that CTF.
Oh, yeah.
John obviously was a big part as well, picking up some kills in that push in OT, but Slasher, man, in the OT picking up that 1 kill with the flag, and then in regulation to get the flag back in that stalemate scenario. Slasher was a big player.
If there's a memorable moment, yeah, it's that 6 shot there with the Tempest, and then the 1v1, like you said, he won in overtime. Slasher gets it done. And that's why this team, I guess, of EnVy is so scary, right?
Yeah.
Because you have the players with the younger players with the raw talent that can get it done. Then you have the veteran leadership the other side. I mean, that's why they're a contender for us when we're looking forward to COD XP.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at this roster just as a whole. I mean, they're just so consistent. They have some explosive players, in John and Apathy. And I really think Apathy is probably the key to this team. I mean, Apathy has been playing great as of late. If he keeps that play up, they can really play with anyone, as we've seen over the last month or 2.
Well, just think about it just strictly maybe by like a, kind of weapon by weapon. When you look at the 2 players that typically lead the SMG role, and John and Apathy, they can hang with anyone when you talk about those 2. And then you look at the combination of Slasher and JCap from more of an AR type role, they can hang with anyone. Like you got to think right now, and with do I think
there's not a matchup for like either their SMGs or their ARs in any series where you go in and be like they're severely outmatched.
I still think if you have maybe Optic Gaming at their best, playing their best, they have the 4 most skilled players kind of
Without
on
a doubt,
that
I think
squad.
everyone would agree with that.
But they haven't They haven't really been at that level, and EnVy's been peaking now when you really need them to. So that's what's interesting as we get closer and closer to God XP.
And it's just like TP was talking about on the analysis desk earlier, it's just that consistency. Like, you don't see it from many players. Like, you'll see a team come in, they'll be on fire for one event. I mean, look at eLevate, right? I mean, you know, they make it all the way to the finals of Anaheim, like right here in the series, they come out flat. They can't really perform against an EnVy team who's really playing at a top level. EnVy just consistent from, you know, online, during the regular season to stage 2 finals. Now, at least in this first series, they looked really good. I'm excited to see how they progress through the weekend.
Well, speaking about Cap, he had a monster series, and we do have your boy Courage on the floor with him.
Yes, down here on the floor with JCap. First off, fantastic series. Let's look back, though, prior to this event. You obviously have stage 2. EnVy takes it home. But you even went on Twitter and said, hey, my teammates, they did the work. I was just there filling in the holes that were needed. This series, though, you looked on point. Everyone pulled their weight. How good does that feel for the team to start off this weekend?
Oh, it's a great feeling to start with a win always. But, I mean, it's still just pool play. Big win over good team in our pool, but there's a lot of tournament left.
There most certainly is. There's so many squads that want to take you down because I think right now, for the first time in a long time in competitive Call of Duty, you guys are right there with the best as an EnVyUs squad, and a lot of teams favor you to win this weekend. Why do you think that is? What is it with this team that just works so well?
I think a lot of teams are favoring us now just because ever since we picked up John Apathy, we've steadily gotten better. When we first formed even, we didn't necessarily click right away. We had some rough patches, weren't that great. But as time went on, we became really good, and that showed at Season 2, so that's why I think a lot of teams are picking us as the favorite.
Well, you saw a lot of great moments in that series, but in the uplink, things didn't really go as well as you would have liked. What was going wrong in that game? What are you looking to improve upon in that game mode?
Everything went wrong in the uplink first side. We just got spawn trapped early, and like that's the #1 rule in evac: do not get spawn trapped on that bad side. So once I think we were down 11 at halftime. It was possible. We almost made it happen at the end, but just not quite enough time. But yeah, that first side just killed us. Too big of a hole.
All right, well, you heard it from the veteran himself, JCap. This squad is the real deal. Look for them to continue to play through pool play this weekend. But for now, though, final thoughts on the series with Benson on the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Jack. Great to hear a little bit of JCap's thoughts on that series, but let's break it down. It was almost an eLevate win there, it looked like, for quite a long period of time before EnVy tie up the game and then get the W in overtime. But talk to me a little bit about what happened in regulation time.
I mean, Capture the Flag is a very slow-paced game mode. It's kind of a game mode that you want to grind out. You want to play the full 10 minutes. You win 1-0, you win 25-0. It does not matter. You still win. So the way EnVy was kind of playing it, they were playing straight up until they got their game. They tied it up, and then they played the overtime. And I think they played it perfectly.
Yeah, completely agree with you on that one. eLevate did not pressure enough on the map. When you have a lead in CTF, it's so much easier to get another flag pull out because the pressure is on the other team to put pressure on the strong side of the map. eLevate didn't take advantage of their lead at all. They sat back and then forced a stalemate onto the second side, and then eventually a big play is going to happen. It's Slasher. We expect it from him. Popped in with the 2-piece Tempest to get the flag return, get to overtime, and then they just completely took the momentum and ran with it.
And what kind of went wrong in overtime, like for eLevate? It seemed as if it was almost a little too easy for EnVyUs. They kind of just strolled in, 52-second cap.
Yeah, I mean, EnVy just had a really good team push, and then Slasher gets by him. Like you said, he pushes the overextend, gets behind eLevate, and then makes a play. And they got lucky at one point because he was pulling it in, turns around, and then he goes to the end, and the eLevate player actually spawned up, but he like accidentally juked him, so he did get away for that. But it was just textbook EnVy communication. They were like, dude, don't go this way. I might have messed up the spawns. Go back. It was just a great play by EnVy.
And then from eLevate's point of view, right? You have 52 seconds to cap a flag. I mean, how do you do that against the EnVy squad?
You got to make one team push one way, all on the same page, and you got to hope you win your gunfights. I mean, you can only do so much in that situation.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I mean, when you looked at it though, they almost like took too much time.
Yeah.
Like they just they didn't seem urgent enough. Like I think we were on with Felony, and he was just like sitting in bricks, and he just sort of waited.
Yeah.
Like they didn't get to the base until there was like 5 seconds left. So it just didn't seem like they were playing with enough urgency in overtime.
For sure, definitely got to be urgent, especially when you're playing against the clock. But we talked a little bit about John in between those maps. We should really address some of his key moments because he was definitely playing extremely well. And I think it's key for EnVyUs to have him play as consistent as that. I mean, you know, here's a quick look at him at the very, very beginning. On that hard point, just jumps into a hill, pops your 2-piece, and he's just so good right now, it seems, that just being that explosive SMG that Team EnVyUs need, right?
I mean, when I teamed with him back in the beginning of this game when we got second place together, he's one of the only players that I've ever played with that gets 40 kills. Like, obviously he didn't get 40 in this game, but he'll get 40 to 45 kills in the hard point, inside the hard point. And then he's got so much talent in search and destroy and stuff like that with that sniper shot right there.
Yeah. crowd enjoyed a couple of those snipes, that's
Oh, yeah,
for sure. But
definitely.
I mean, I really expect to see John continue with that, but would you say he has to be consistent, Team? Is that going to be key for MV? Like, is it really a lot of pressure on him?
I think the player with the biggest pressure is really JCap. He's the one that has been struggling the most on this lineup. John had a bit of a quiet series, I would say. You expect him to get the extremely significant slaying numbers. He didn't really have to do it in this series, so it's nice to see some of the other players step up in that category. So I guess to answer your question, I guess no. If everyone's going to step up to that next level, that's what brings you to that elite level. So you don't have to rely on John to completely carry like he kind of has been.
Well, MVS definitely with a good start, right?
Yeah, great start, but you know, if you're playing another, you know, Rise or Optic team, they have to keep the slaying up in those respawn modes. I think they got away. You know, they got lucky on that CTF because, yeah, it was pretty even slaying, but, you know, like you said, you know, as soon as one slips up, you can't do that versus the other teams. You all have to be playing well.
Once again, we can take a look at how that series developed. Of course, Team MVS walking away with the W, 3 maps to 1. 250 to 220, pretty close game of Stronghold. eLevate kind of stepped up towards the end. Infection S&D was all Team MVS, as you guys correctly kind of predicted and talked about. eVac, we got a little bit of life from Team eLevate. And then, of course, the Fringe CTF that we just saw goes all the way to an overtime. But I think it's fair to expect similar stuff from Team MVS throughout these groups, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you expect the same thing, but there were some issues, in my opinion, with the EnVyUs lineup. Stopping the bleeding in the uplink. The CTF, there was multiple situations that I saw on the minimap that eLevate could have taken advantage of. Envy just kept stacking that train side, left the overextend open, and got lucky 2 or 3 times on that map. So they need to be careful and go back to that mechanically correct style. When you spawn up on the minimap, know where you need to go. And so it could pay.
How easy is that to fix, Merc, when you're in the middle of a tournament setting? I mean, you've just played your first game in groups, probably got a little bit of time, you know, an hour or so before you play again. Is it easy to fix?
Yeah, I mean, I think they just had to sort of regroup and just communicate. I mean, I don't think they were necessarily happy with games 3 and 4. They'll probably talk about it, communicate. They're probably doing it right after the game, just fixing those mistakes. Right, but if you're Envy, you're happy because that's probably your toughest match in this pool, depending who comes out of the open bracket. You got your big match out of the way. You can sort of relax a little bit. Obviously, they still have to play X United, but you know, they should be able to, you know, handle that team very easily.
Definitely some teams to watch out for from the open bracket, but that's going to be everything from us for Game 1. For now, we're going to do a quick commercial break, and when we return, Game 2 of MLG Orlando.